This is the Real Rebuild Podcast, where people drop the polished version and get real about the screw-ups, the scars, and the breakthroughs that actually shape a life. Raw stories, hard lessons, zero fluff. I'm your host, Tommy Sessions. Let's get into the truth.
Today, I have the genuine honor of introducing someone who's not just a powerhouse in the entrepreneurial world, which I can't say that word, but truly one of the most heart-honest, sleeve, down-to-earth humans you could meet. He's a man on a mission, and he'll tell you it's a mission from God to help others become millionaires, just as he once had help on his own journey. He built and sold a widely successful educational app called Stu Kent, and now he's paying it forward. He runs retreats, the angel invests, he's got his own podcast, and he's just a beacon of kindness in all those spaces. And yes, he's rocking a toupee with the kind of confidence that only someone as genuine as he can pull off. What I love most is that Stu isn't just about business success. He's about opening his heart and his life. He's someone who welcomes people into his home, his cabin, and even his spiritual journey to help them find their own paths. Personally, he took a bet on me, brought me into one of his retreats, and showed me the kind of community that can only form when someone is that dedicated to lifting others up. He's been one of my biggest cheerleaders and idea guys, and I'm forever grateful and honored to introduce to you my friend Stu Draper.
Dude, I feel like I need to get up out, push the mic out of the way, go give you a hug. Yes,
I feel like I need to push that button, the applause button on the road mic.
That was too nice, man. I appreciate you. Good thing we already gave a hug. We don't need.
Yeah, dude, we already hugged it out. Now, just think it's really cool what you've done, and what this podcast is. We bring people in who have, built their lives and built something for themselves. And we like to hear their story and their journey of what it took, from conception to now. But I know that Stu Kent wasn't your first thing, was it?
No.
So what was?
Well, I mean, how far back do you want to go? I guess.
Oh man, we'll just.
Devin says from conception.
Go way back. Where were you conceived?
Number 6 of 8 kids conceived in Mount Vista neighborhood, Salmon Creek, Vancouver, Washington area.
Dang.
Yeah, so I'm number 6 of 8 kids. Number 7, Tyler and we're brothers. He runs a plumbing company in Vancouver, Washington today, and he stayed home. Ridgefield, Washington is actually where he lives. And when we would run the lemonade stand, I was the one that I'd see a car run up and I'd go run into the trees close by and whisper out to Tyler what to say, but he had to be the one to say it. I was too nervous for that, worried about that. I couldn't, just a little bit shy, I guess. But I was probably the one that had the idea, hey, let's do the lemonade stand. That was me. And today it's probably more reversed. Tyler's more introverted, not going to speak out, reach out. And I'm more extroverted now than he is. So funny how that works. And life experiences do that, right? I chose to serve a mission in Argentina for 2 years. That had an impact on that for sure. My mom pushed me to always do student government stuff. That helped me kind of get out of my shell and start speaking out and being willing to stand in front of all my peers and give a speech, So, but yeah, that's early days Stu as an entrepreneur. Oh, another one along those lines. We used to sell those $1 candy bars.
Oh yeah.
I'd pay 10 for one of those. I want one of those right now. My brother, I'd literally walk part way to the door from the road and stop and have my brother go knock on the door. I needed him to do my bidding, I guess. I don't know. It's just how
you can do it. You just dress up in the back with a suit. What's up?
Little did you know that you were actually in the makings of a managerial entrepreneurial position. You were like, dude, you got this. I'm facilitating this. You got it. Go ahead. Come on.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're pumping them up.
Yeah. And I'm sure I still took 50-50 on everything there, but that was early days stuff. My dad was a business leader. And I remember my mom taking us a few times to go to his office building in Portland. And it was a nice office building along the Columbia River. And my dad always was suit and tie for work. And I just thought, he's a boss. I want to be like him someday. And I remember him coming home and saying he'd made executive vice president and then coming home and I got promoted and I'm the president of the company now. And it was a 600 employee trucking company. But the day I'll never forget from my dad's career that definitely had a big impact on me was between my sophomore and junior year. He came home one day in tears and just said, we got to shut down Silver Eagle, 600 employee company. And when he became president. I didn't know this. And my dad never showed the stress and concern of this because a lot of dads don't to their kids.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on. He came home sobbing that he had to close the doors. And I remember what happened was when he got promoted to president, they were like, if you'll take it over and try, we'll give you a few more years of runway to figure it out and see if you can make it go. Cause it's been in the red for years. So my dad took it out of the red into the black. It's winning. It's doing well. And then between Y2K software updates, I don't know if Devin's too young for Y2K, but like software updates, they ended up having shipments for their trucking company, Kmart, JCPenney, like they lost those customers over.
He's too young for those businesses too.
I remember Kmart.
Kmart was a big thing.
Yeah. So, but my dad ended up losing those customers between that and having to fight. They were a unionized trucking company. So he was always dealing with the Teamsters, trying to put the trucks on the side of the road on strike again. And so they had a hard time making it work. And when it didn't, I saw him sad one day. And then for the next 10 months, I saw him just grind on closing the doors and getting it done. And then he worked hard to get a new job, got a new job, and kept going. He was back at VP level and was starting over financially, right? Like just from zero. So I was like, man, being a business leader looks hard, but my dad is always happy and he works hard and seems to be an honorable man. And we've got a nice middle America life. Like I could do this. That's what I want to do. At the same time I was growing up with that, at 13 years old, I started every summer doing plumbing for my brother-in-law that's had his plumbing business. And it was like, I like Mike's job because if he wants to stop at 3 one day, he can. If he wants to stop at 4 one day, he can. But my dad in a suit and tie, he doesn't make it home for dinner at 6 half the nights. And he has to go on business trips all the time. And Mike never leaves town. Like all of a sudden the idea of entrepreneurship versus being the boss, but not in charge, but not the owner, that appealed more to me. I think in life, I could go on and on about stories from before I was 18 years old that really had a major impact in building me into the man I am and the business leader I became.
That's awesome.
What do you think? That's like a true rich dad, poor dad type of scenario.
Yeah.
Your dad,
sure
and then you
right?
got the plumbing business. But what do you think is like the main thing that shaped you? I mean, you talked about your dad, like being up on a pedestal, and he was a baller because he was in a suit, tie, whatever. But like, at what point do you think you were just like, no, this is not for me, like entrepreneurial all the way, no matter what? Or did you kind of stumble into it, or how did you make that happen?
Well, for me, I stumbled into it young. What happened was in college, I did alarm sales, ran out of money at the end of the summer, and then the company ran out of money and no one got their back end checks. So that's 33% of your income for the summer gone. That sucked. Did used car sales for 2 months. They pulled me in a room, said, hey, it's not working out. We got to fire you. They fired me. And then like a month later, they closed the whole business. It was like a 37 car lot, too small of a town. It just wasn't going to work. And then I finally got my first job where I was winning. I'm like the best salesman on a team of 10 people. And I'm like, I'm going to get promoted. I got done with my internship. They kept me. Then they promoted me. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I got it. Like I'm in. I got my career path going. Someday I want to be an entrepreneur. But for now, like I got to learn. And I don't know what idea for a business I would start. So for now, this is awesome. Right at Christmas time, we have a cool Christmas party. The company seems awesome. I'm feeling great because I'm selling well. And then they pulled us all in a room right after Christmas and said, hey, it's Friday. None of you your checks haven't hit yet. And that's because they're not gonna. We ran out of funding. This was 2008. So the market had crashed. Investors had pulled out and they had no one to help fund their growth as a business. So 3 times all young, I was like out of a job where I was leaning on someone else to pay me. And so it just motivated me younger to go start my own thing. And at that time, like Google ads and websites for small businesses was such a big and important wave that was coming. My brother-in-law is a dentist in Salem, Oregon, and he had 3 record-breaking months of new patients from the Google ads I was doing for him. side hustling at night while I was still selling for that company. And I think, by the way, a lot of young kids, if you're young college age listening to this, you're probably like gonna get into your first job, start signing yourself up for a mortgage and car payments and everything else, and you're gonna get done at 5 and want to stop and not do your own thing. And that might be okay. For me, I'm really glad I didn't, because I was out of a job for the 3rd time. This time I've got number 2 baby on the way. Married my wife young, still in school. And I have to go to her for a 3rd time and say, honey, I don't have a job anymore. But I had my brother-in-law as a very first happy customer for what became getfoundfirst.com. So that's how I got into entrepreneurship young. I was a CEO before I was, a quote unquote CEO, CEO of me.
Self-proclaimed CEO.
Yes. At less than 25 years old. And
dang.
So, yeah.
How long did you build Get Found First? How long was that a work in progress until you sold?
So I started Get Found First in 2009, end of 2008, beginning of 2009. And then it sold in 2015. But from 2011 to 2015, I always had a managing partner and I was out of the day-to-day. So I had passive income from it for 4 years.
Nice.
While I worked on other things.
So you had Get Found First. Were you building other companies at the same time?
So I was only doing Get Found First until 2011. I got asked to go to BYU, Idaho, my alma mater, and teach as an adjunct faculty member to teach digital marketing. And that kicked off the idea to start StuKent, a better way to teach digital marketing in higher education. And like, if there's something you can learn from my story, it's that one opportunity can lead to new opportunities in life. So play your cards well and work hard with whatever opportunity you're given, because if you do a good job, it leads to more and better additional opportunities. Right. So, I did that at BYU, Idaho. At the same time, Frank Vandersloot at Melaleuca called me for the 2nd time, someone from his team anyway. Right.
Yeah.
They call me and they're like, hey, we really want you to come and help at Melaleuca, specifically with Frank. He donated $1 million to Mitt Romney and took a lot of flack for that. So online reputation management was really important for him. And I had a background in digital marketing. And so from 2011 to 2013, I worked on Melaleuca during the day, 8 to 5. And from 5 to 5:30 on my drive home every day, I had a daily call with my managing partner in getfoundfirst.com. And then I would play with the kids, eat dinner, put the kids to bed. And then from about 8 until 11 every night, I would work on the idea for StuKent. Because the idea came when I was teaching as an adjunct faculty member that I could start a business to help professors teach digital marketing in colleges. And so I was running like dead, full speed ahead on this, because once the idea came, it never would go away. I think anyone who's considering starting a business, if you have an idea and you find that like you can give up on it easy, it's probably not the right idea. But if the idea won't leave you alone, then that's probably God telling you to keep going, that you need to keep doing this. And that was definitely true for me. I just kept working on it every night, and Lindsay just trusted and believed that what I was working on would someday be worth it. But I think another interesting part of the story here is that for 2 years, I was working on a business that didn't make any money. It took that kind of time to build out the idea, do the market research, build the business plan for a very large, viable business. You don't have to move that slow or take that long to start a lot of businesses. But the business I was starting, where I was going to raise almost $1 million in funding, and that now is 12 years old and has supported over 1 million students in 80 countries globally, and is now worth over 9 figures, like, that takes some time and energy to get going and build. And I never could have done that as a 24 or 25-year-old myself. I wasn't ready for that. Mark Zuckerberg was, right? Me, I hadn't paid my dues yet. Brain power wasn't there yet to go do that big of a thing. But because of Get Found First, because of teaching at BYU, Idaho, because of my experience at Melaleuca and having that as a day job to pay bills while I worked really hard on Stu Kent for 2 years, that was all very instrumental and built.
Because I think we talked about this last week on the podcast with Wilburn, and it was like, so many people say must be nice. You know what I mean? And it's like exactly what you just explained. It's like, nope, I went 2 years on a grind, like just straight grind from, what did you say, 8 o'clock to 11:30 or whatever at night, every night, and then went to work again the next day and then did it again. And it's like for 2 years straight and no paycheck to make something that like you put your faith in, that you're like, okay, this is going to work. I have faith in it, but I sure hope so. Right. And your wife was probably like, I sure hope so.
I sure hope so. Yeah, no doubt. And you never know until you try.
What were your finances like while going through that? Was it like a strapped feeling or?
So I had the blessing of having Get Found First in the hands of a managing partner.
Oh, yeah.
That was still running the business. And so I had some income off of that. And at Melaleuca, they paid me very well to quit day to day at Get Found First to come and go full time on Melaleuca. So I had a really good income, which was awesome until I quit at Melaleuca and gave well over $100,000 up to come and just go back to just the income off of Stu Kent. And so I paid myself. I told the investors I have to pay myself a little bit to make ends meet, but I'll go off as little as I can until we get it going. And the investors were cool with that and supportive of me. And they believed in me because, one, I had already had a success story. Get Found First was a success. And two, the market research was phenomenal. We called over 100 professors. 60% of them were teaching digital marketing, but unhappy, including like Oregon, Texas, Tennessee, Marquette, Indiana, all these schools that are reputable logos. They weren't even teaching their business students digital marketing a decade after Google had started making money.
Really? Dang.
And so they knew that I was onto an opportunity that was pretty big. And so we signed up 100 universities year one, 300 by the end of year two, well over 500 by the end of year three. And so it looks like it was an overnight success, but it was years in the making.
So what is Stu Kent? Like a broad 10,000 foot view, because you're signing up universities. Right? Yeah. Like what are you signing them up? What does it do?
So students for any course in college are familiar with the experience of buying a textbook. Sometimes they got to buy a license to a software as well. In our case, we sell what we call simternships, a simulated internship, and it lasts, the license is worth about a semester worth of work. And then we also sell courseware, which is similar to a textbook, reading material, video content, links to places online to learn more. But those two things, where the simternship and the courseware, they go hand in hand. So when you read about the experience of creating a Google ad, you can actually go in the simulation and create the Google ad, and you write it against simulated competitors. Just like a video game has simulated competitors, we have simulated businesses paying to be on the same keywords that you're choosing in your simulated experience.
That's sweet.
Yeah. That's so cool. We branded them as simternships, and they've done really, really well.
So when you talk about, funding, right? You're getting people to donate to this cause, right? This is something that I have no idea. Invest. Yeah. Okay. I'm in nonprofit brain.
Basically, for most angel investors, you should consider what you're doing and invest a donation. But it is officially, right? It's an investment.
So what is that? What is that like? Are you crapping your pants? Because you're like just going to people you don't know, like asking for money, right?
So I was crapping my pants metaphorically. I think that's I think a good founder is crapping their pants. They are scared when they take someone's money. Sadly, there's a lot of founders who lose the fear of taking someone's money because they're like, well, the way this contract is written up, you're buying shares in my business. You're not giving me a loan, and I don't have to actually pay you back because it's not a loan. It's a bet investment. And you bought shares in a business that I have shares in. I just happen to have more because I'm the founder. But you have shares, and if I fail, I get nothing. If you fail, if I fail, you also get nothing. But like, that's not the right way to think about it. You need to I think that the right way a founder should be thinking about any investment taken or any debt is hell or high water. I'm going to find a way to get you return, not just your money back, return, because you took a bet on me and said, I'll give you the money instead of something I could have done for my family. That's how I thought about it. And so people were writing me 25,000 up to 150 checks, right? And 25 grand to me, still in my 20s, or maybe I was coming right up on 30. That was like a lot of money. Now looking back, I'm like, holy crap, those guys were just like pocket change, giving me a little bit of what they had, knowing that if they lost it all, they'd be okay. And they'd go, I helped Stu. Like, it was good. Right.
That's cool.
Told you, Devin. We had this conversation yesterday about his nonprofit.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, I don't know. People like, how do they give that much money? And I said, well, for one, when you start talking about people with wealth of like $100 million, giving 100,000 is a must. Like, there's not a, and then when you start talking about people with wealth of 100,000 or $100 million, reinvesting a couple million or whatever is just part of it. Like, that's just
the nature
life
of the beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's really how it is. And so what's really cool, and one of the things I'm most proud of about my entrepreneurial story is that those angels that gave me 25 grand in the very first like pre-finished product kind of stage, they got $1,967,000. Okay. So just shy of $1 million was their return 7 years later.
Holy crap.
Wow.
That's legit.
So if you gave me 150 grand, multiply that, right? Like that's a lot of money that those guys got paid. And I was so happy to be able to do that, which sounds crazy because I think a lot of founders, they get to this place where they're like, gosh, it was 7 years ago they helped me. And they just been sitting back since then. They didn't have to do anything else. I did all the work. Why do I have to give them that much money? Well, because back then
You had nothing.
And I needed that. And I'm so grateful for them. And it's so fun to be able to reconnect with them on occasion and just give them a hug and be like, you made it.
This is cool.
And they returned that hug very well. With
much. Dude, that's crazy. That's got to be a wild feeling too, man. I don't even know how. So when you were finding your investors, what was that experience like? How did you find them?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that I would like to teach entrepreneurs, and I try to through my podcast Startups with Stu, is that you don't raise money when you need the money. You raise money years in advance by the reputation you build. So I met Corey Smith. He sold Eastgate Drug and Westgate Drug to Walgreens here in Idaho Falls. So he was one of the very few millionaires at the time that I knew. And I met him because I was doing really well selling for that company that laid me off. And he was like an entrepreneur in residence, and he was one of the guys that had invested in that business that lost everyone's money. And he just followed my story. About once a quarter or so, we would go to Taco Bell and say hi and reconnect. And I'd tell him about what I was doing with Get Found First. One day, Corey, by the way, he knew my father-in-law. And he pulled my father-in-law aside at some event they were both at. He said, hey, your son-in-law, Stu, I bet he's a millionaire by the time he's 30. And he didn't tell me that. He told my father-in-law that. My father-in-law came to me and said that. I get a little bit emotional when I say that because when my father-in-law told me that, it ignited something in me that I didn't have yet. This belief that I could actually do that. And so one thing I've tried to do now as a young men's leader at church or working with young entrepreneurs is trying to help them catch the vision of what their true potential is. All of us, 100% of us, are children of God that are living way beneath what our potential is, what we can actually become. If we really believe that we have a maker, a master creator who can create this planet that's so amazing, why can't we believe that we can actually go and create some really big things to ourselves as his children? And, that's my personal belief. Everyone's going to have different looks on life, and that's mine. And anyway, to get back to the story, though, when Corey said that, it ignited something in me. That made me want to spend more time with Corey. So I started asking him more frequently for lunches. Then I came up with the idea for Stu Ken about the time I taught at BYU Idaho. And I said, Corey, want to go to lunch at? And I think we went to, it's that burger joint over there off of Old Yellowstone Highway. It's a drive-in one.
Oh, Scotty's?
Scotty's. I was going to say Smitty's, but I knew it. Yeah, Smitty's is the breakfast joint. So Scotty's, I pulled him. I said, Corey, I'm onto an idea. I can get 100 professors with 100 students that pay $100. 100 times 100 times 100 is $1 million. I'm going to write a textbook for those students. And he's like, Stu, a textbook? How are you going to write a textbook? I was like, well, I've already taught. I know what they need to learn, and no one else has done a good job of it. So I think I can. And he's like, well, you should do some market research. And he at the time was running the RBDC, the Regional Business Development Center, which became the Entrepreneurial Center, E-Center, I think they called it. They would hire students from BYUI to do market research for businesses. And he got me 5 students. Those 5 students were the ones that called the 100 schools for me. And so he's like paying attention to me, and that I'm working every night. And when I come home from Melaleuca, and we're meeting for breakfast, and I'm telling him more about the idea. We'd go to Perkins at this point. And anyway, we got to the end of this business planning process over my 2 years at Melaleuca. And I was like, Corey, this looks like it's time to go. Like, it's going to work. And he's like, would you do it? Would you quit everything you got at Melaleuca and go for this? And I was like, nah, I don't think I should do that yet. And like 2 days later, he texts me and says, what's your address? And I was like, maybe his daughter's getting married or something. I text him back my address, and like 2 or 3 days later, I got a check for $25,000 in the mail from Corey Smith. And he said, I believe in you, and you are onto something. Quit Melaleuca and go all in on this. This is your first money. I'll help you raise the rest. When you talk about the term angel investor, there is nothing more angel than that. Because you know what? We didn't have all of our contracts in place, filed with the SEC. I had become a Delaware C corporation. Like, I had done some of the work, and I had really done a lot of work on business planning and preparation. And I even had one first customer, but I hadn't said I was all in yet. And he just gave me this belief that helped me raise the $250,000 I needed for year 1. We raised another 250 or 350 in year 2. And we raised another 250, not third year. But Corey Smith was like the guy that really helped me. And I had other people that believed in me that were early days, and I should thank all of them individually. I won't show, but
yeah. You got like a big old list. You're like, and da-da-da-da-da. That's cool though, man. Even in my own experience, right? Where Tommy plays a piece of this in my experience. I didn't even know, like, my first fundraiser I ever did was a year ago, and I was just trying to raise $1,000. I didn't even know Tommy and his wife, Jennifer. They hit me up on like day 2 of my fundraiser. And you might cut this out, but maybe you won't. Jennifer's like, we want to donate $5,000. And I was like, whoa, like, that's a lot of money. Like, did you add an extra zero? Like, is this? And they're like, no, we believe in you. We think this is cool. We want to help.
Yeah.
And that sparked something in me that I was like, okay, I am going to go for as much money as I possibly can now, And I'm glad I did, because at that point I was maybe at like 2 or 3,000. I can't remember. They had 5,000. I'm like, I could definitely get over $10,000 for this family. 10 days or 20 days in, I end up raising $60,000. I was like,
which family was that?
This is
the Moalas.
Yeah, the Moalas. Yeah, Brittany and Fatu, and they had their baby Revy. This was born with medical complexity. They had to sell everything. They lived in Rigby, had to move in with their mom. Were living in their mom and dad's kitchen. Like, they got 2 older girls, and I just saw their story. And before I even launched the fundraiser, I didn't have a story. That was the other thing. I had nothing. I just had an idea that I was going to try to help somebody with Christmas. And then, a couple days in, saw their story, and I was like, I felt it in my soul. Like, I literally thought my father-in-law was telling me. So I remember yeah, dude, I remember I saw the story, like, I started tearing up, and I'm like, I'm not an emotional person. I'm much more emotional the last year than I've ever been in my entire life. But I'm like, okay, something's here. And I remember I drove to the gas station. The song I chose for his funeral came on the radio when I was thinking about this family. I'm like, if that's not a sign, I don't know what else is. And so I went for it, man. And then, dude, just playing these pieces, like things that you've just, like you said, you're building this before you realize you're building it, which was just cool for me. And now it's what I'm doing, you know? So hearing someone else's experience like that is super cool.
What's your total raise now? Do you know?
Oh man, I need to go look. It's at least $500,000.
Good for you, dude. That's such a great start. And I'm like you mentioned at the beginning, you felt like I'm a cheerleader. I am. I'm so proud of you, man. It's so cool. It's a rare breed what you've been able to pull off. And you're just getting started. What you're going to be able to do. You'll laugh at saying you raised $500,000.
It is crazy. I mean, my next goal, I want to give away $1 million. Like, I mean, I've got other goals too, but I mean, I feel like that's a pretty achievable one that I'm like, it will just be cool. I don't know. I've never even had $1 million, but I want to give it away.
One of your strengths, Devin, is you guys tell me if you agree with this, is that he's such a good storyteller. Yeah. And stories sell. People buy into stories. And in your case, they're not buying anything but the opportunity to give back, and you motivate people to do it. You mentioned you're crying more often. To me, that's like a clear sign that that's God saying, working through you in such a way that it's hard to control the emotion of that.
Yeah, I feel it, man. Deep. It's like deep. I don't know. And it's the same thing, you know, when you were touching on, you know, your debts and stuff and getting into a job and getting into debt to where you're tied into stuff and you can't do anything else, you know, like I didn't have that. Thankfully. Mm-hmm. So I've been able to do this and just risk it for the biscuit, dude. Like if it flops, I'm just back at square zero and I didn't lose anything.
Yeah.
Like I don't have any crazy debt. If I have to sell my truck, sweet, dude, I'll light that thing on fire right now. Like I don't care. Just I don't have to have that. So I've lucked out through weird adversity. I've lucked out to be in a position that I didn't have a bunch of financial constraint. My house is paid for, but only because I broke my neck. And I had to sell my house I had just built.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude, it was wild.
I didn't know that story.
Yeah, so 2020, we built a house, moved in March. I broke my neck in April. I tried to stay in that house for as long as I could, but I was just going into credit card debt because I couldn't keep up with it. I'd lost my job. I was like, you know what? I want to start fresh. And so I freaking sold the house, but had enough equity in the house that I bought a Rockwell home in cash. So, and I've just stayed there. And then I quit my job at the site because I was like, you know what? I can figure out how to make $80,000 a year by myself. Uh-huh. Like, I don't need someone else to tell me I can or can't get a raise. So that's what I did. And it sounds like you have a very similar story. It's like, I'm relying on these guys for my paycheck, but I'm still putting in the work.
Yeah.
You know, if you put in the work for you, your payoff's way bigger if it wins. And you know, if you don't quit, it's eventually going to win. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
For you, dude. That's such a cool story. I think that the idea of making money off of doing the charitable things you do is really hard to swallow at first. And it's always hard for a lot of donors the majority of donors to swallow that. I read a book that changed me in the way I think about this. It's called Thirst. The story, I think the man's name is Scott Harrison. He spoke at an Inc. 5000 conference that I attended. Inc. magazine puts it on for the fastest growing companies in America. And Thirst tells the story of his charity called Charity Water. And they've now brought clean water to village after village in Africa. And it's changing the game. What happened was he'd been a playboy in New York City and kind of prodigal son story of pastor's kid turned wild, was throwing these parties for celebrities and making really good money doing it as the promoter for these parties. And because the entry fees were massive, right? Well, after a decade of that, he decided to sign himself up for the Mercy ships, where you go to Africa and you park the ship right on the shore, and then they advertise to the people of Africa, like, come on our ship and we'll do work. We have doctors ready to go to work. And so these people would show up with all sorts of crazy tumors and growths and blindness and all this other stuff. And Scott's job was to be the photographer for the year. he's taking all these pictures and he's like, I can tell a story with these pictures of what's actually going on here. But I got to figure out what is really going on that all these African kids are so sick. Like, why are we in America so healthy and they're so sick? And he went to one of the doctors. The doctor goes, dude, the water is killing these people. The water. None of them have clean water. And they work so hard just to get water that they're killing them, their backs and
they need
necks,
water, but it's not good water.
Carrying the water too. So he came back from that year and started Charity Water. It's like charity : water. And he would use these pictures and throw these events. He starts using his goodness, all of his skills for good now instead of promoting drug and alcohol parties. Right. And man, he's just changed the world with what he's doing. It's been really cool to watch. So check out that one.
You said there's a book about it?
Thirst.
I'm going to read that.
Yeah, no, you got to read it. It's a must read. And anyone who likes to donate or thinks of themselves as a future philanthropist once they make their money, which by the way, that's not the way to think about being a giver, is waiting until you have a lot. But yeah, if you're into that stuff, you got to go read it. Thirst.
Dude, I need to. That's like you said, I've had a really hard time swallowing the fact like that this is now my income, because I didn't want to make money feeling like I was profiting off of people's sob stories, but I've had a lot of good friends, Tuttle being one of them, these guys. And I think like-minded people like yourself that have said, without you, these people don't get help, and you can't help them unless you help yourself too, and not even help yourself too, but like, if you can't take care of your family as well, what will you do? So I tried that. I tried that for, 4 or 5 months, working the other job and this, and really pushing hard on this. And my heart just was like screaming, like, no, you are supposed to do this. So I'm like, okay. And I just put my head down and figured it out how it was going to work. And
yeah. One thing I've thought about is, and I'm sure this is not like a new Stu's idea thing, but like, I think everyone that's choosing to do what you're doing should consider having just an arm of their donor base that's dedicated to supporting you and what you do, that are your cheerleaders and believers, that go fund him so he can raise way more money than I'm donating, but I'm donating enough to help him pay his bills. And so then you can go to other people and honestly say 100% of your donation will go, because you have set donors that are the more dedicated.
The foundation.
Yeah.
We'll call it Sugar Daddy.
Dude, that's funny. That's what I'm working on. That's literally what I'm working on
Really?
right now. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I've been taking this course of what I'm doing right now is marketing, right? Like, I'm marketing a good story so people can step in and help, right? So if I could do this through brands, is my idea, right? Or brands need eyeballs. They also need to figure out a better way to step into their community and show that they do give back. Like, if you want to inspire the world, in my mind, it's like, if you keep it anonymous, it only changes your life and the person you helped. Everything I've done is public, and I get DMs all the time of people like, this changed my life. I had people that text me literally saying this, I didn't know if I was going to be alive by the end of the week. Seeing this video has given me new hope. And so I'm like, okay, that's why I'm going to continue to do this publicly. And if I have a platform I've built, I'm hoping brands will, 1, donate to help these families, but 2, help me stay alive, and keep this going. So this is an idea I've had for maybe 3-ish weeks. I've just been learning.
So for those listening that may have found this through just hearing that I'm sharing this episode and they don't know you guys from Adam, Devin Hess runs the $1 Dream.
Yep.
The $1 Dream. If you want to go check it out, you can search up Devin Hess on Instagram or $1 Dream as well, right?
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Cool. Yeah.
Yep. And it's just this wild idea I had of trying to get as many people as I can to give me $1 and then go give it away.
Well, and that's one of the cool things that I've watched as I've seen people donate to the different causes that you've brought up, is it's small money. Mm-hmm. Most people are in the $5, $10, $20 range, but that's the beauty of it, is that if you're making $20 an hour, to donate $20 is a lot. You just gave up an hour of your 40 for the week for a cause. And it turns out it adds up to where you're able, off of those donations, to raise 60, 100 grand for someone.
Yeah. And that's what's crazy.
I say someone, it's never someone. It's always them. It's always the family.
Yeah.
And everyone goes through it when someone goes through hard, right?
Yep. And I'm just trying to create this community of givers. That's what I call it. Like, if I could have, I mean, I always say 1 million, but who knows? If I had 1 million people following my platform that were dedicated to actually following it, and I just asked all 1 million people to give me $1, bro, imagine how many people we could help. You know what I'm saying? Like, all I'm asking is for $1.
Yeah,
I'll ask for it 12 times a year. That's $12 out of 1 million people's pockets. And we just raised $12 million and changed countless, of families' lives.
Yeah. And I love the genius of your ask that whether they donate or not, share.
Yeah.
Because it costs nothing to share. And in turn, you can be charitable just through sharing the story. And so if you can't give, tune in and share.
Yeah.
And motivate others to give. I love that.
I think that helps anyways also, because then the people that can't share, as long as they share it, on social media, at least it makes them feel like they're involved.
Yeah.
And people just love that. Even if they can, it still makes them feel important enough to be like, at least I contributed to your idea. It all works out for everybody.
For sure. It's connected to me to people I wouldn't have got connected to any other way. And that's what's been cool. So that's why I really only push for the share, because if it lands on your heart and you want to donate $5, awesome. But if it doesn't, and you share it and it finds somebody else that will, sweet. That's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I push the shares so it'll build. Again, the hardest part of any business is no one knows you exist, right? And so until you start putting your word out and it starts gaining momentum and like you're getting eyeballs, like that's what I'm pushing, trying to make people know that I exist and that what is happening is good and it's changing people's lives. And we'll see where it takes me. And all these other families, I guess, too, dude. It's been cool. I don't know.
Well, I can't wait to watch the story continue.
I know. Now I just freaking robbed the whole Stewart show.
No, that did not rob. And if I can be a means of helping you grow that with my name, awesome.
Dude, I just think it's cool. I haven't told you guys, but Stu will call me just randomly. Dude, Devin, I have this idea. I'm like, yes. Yeah. I screen a lot of people's calls. Yours isn't one of them.
Now I get it.
You're up here, Stu. Just so you know. You're up here.
That's nice of you.
No, it's been really cool, man. I think there's just, as I hear your story and I'm involved in my own, I mean, and they're different, but very similar. It feels to me. I feel like I can connect to what you are saying pretty well.
It's cool.
So, and it's just cool to, one thing I wanted to ask you about your own journey is doubt. Everyone's got doubt. Everyone faces that. How did you face that? What did you do?
I think I'm naturally a fairly confident person, at least as an adult. Yeah. No, I mean, even as a kid, I was the kid that always walked around with a big old smile everywhere I went. And I had a coach that called me Smiley. And I think if you're smiling, whether you're confident on the inside, people think of you as confident on the outside. And I was probably smiling to like hide my fears and shyness and stuff. But man, I was tiny, young. I'm still not a big man. I'm 150 pounds soaking wet at 42 years old. But when I was in the 8th grade, my mom and dad moved me from one school to another. And I got teased so much for being short. Miserable. Canned in the garbage can and you get ketchup all over yourself that you have to wear the rest of the day, or thrown in the locker because yes, you still fit and we got to see if you fit, and just picked up everywhere you go because you're tiny enough that the 6'2" kid that hit puberty when he was 10 can pick you up, right? And learning how to deal with being teased and be okay with it, learning how to deal with the bullies and laugh it off so they stop, like that helped me just be okay with who I was and whether you accept me or not. Like, this is me. I'm the little guy. By the way, everyone gets like you get shamed for teasing anymore, but teasing someone for being short is still okay. You can tease someone for about anything, or you can't tease anyone for about anything anymore. But for being short,
is cool.
It's
okay.
still allowed.
So, like, I just dealt with a lot of that. But then I found wrestling, and being the little guy that all of a sudden was kind of feared by bigger kids that knew, oh, he knows what he's doing now, so watch out, right? That helped me. My freshman year, I lost, like I made the varsity squad as the little 103 pounder. I won 3 matches, lost like 22 times, and my parents begged me to quit. But my coach kept telling me, no, your time's coming. I only weighed like 88 pounds as a freshman in high school, 5 foot nothing. And so I was wrestling kids that weighed like 15% more body weight than me, and they would murder me. But my buddies on the team and my coaches kept saying, your time's going to come. And when you're bigger, that's the only reason you're losing. So sure enough, my sophomore year, about halfway through, it started to click. My junior year, I won state. And that sense of coming from nothing and finding and sticking with something and then winning was a real confidence builder for life for me. That helped a ton.
I saw your 3X champion the other day on your Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. My son wrestles, and I think he's 5th year now, and it's kind of the same thing. First year, he won 0 matches. Second year, he won maybe 1.
Yeah.
And I kept telling him to keep going, you got this. But I was like waiting for the day that he's going to come home and be like, I'm done. This sucks.
You geared yourself up.
Yeah, I'm like, how long how long can this kid go with a losing streak like this? Like, it's unreal.
Oh, but the mind over matter that he builds.
Yeah, and he
with
just,
it, man.
Yep. So he's an 8th grader at Taylorview. And this year, Tuttle always walks in. He's like, dude, I saw Stockton wrestling. He's like, I love it, man. He freaking just keeps going. He's like, it's so awesome. He just keeps going, never quits. I'm like, yep. Like, that's for sure. And at a match the other night, I'm like, I even said it, I live video all of his stuff, and I'm like, oh, he's done. Because he had a half, and the kid had his arm like behind his back, and I was like, he's done. And he bridged out of it, and I was like, dang, that kid freaking got out of that.
Yeah.
And so he gets out, and I was like, whoa. And he went all the way down to the 3rd round with it and whatever. But lost that match, came back, won his next one. And I was just like, dude, you're freaking killing it. Like, you went this whole, like, he's not a state champion wrestler right now by any means, but like, just the perseverance. And like, I'm like, if nothing else, like, you are learning lessons that you will never learn anywhere else. I don't care. Like, there's no other sport, in my opinion, either that's going to teach you those lessons. And so it's just, I love it. Like, that 3 times champion kid that you posted.
Yeah, that's Ben Kerr. His story is going to be a movie soon. So
nice.
Ben Kerr is KJAR for the last name. It's a weird last name, but he gets teased for being ugly because he has some deformation to his head and face. But he's strong as an ox and really good wrestler. And his story is that he just kept writing 3XSC on everything, and people knew. And like, he even got his Letterman's jacket before he won state as a sophomore with 3XSC, saying, I'm doing it. And then, so that's 3 years he's got to still like live with, I told everyone I'm going to make this happen. But that drive to go make it happen when he told the world he was going to do it, it's like telling someone what you got as a goal. Like, I'm going to bench press 225 pounds. Like, okay, you tell someone you're going to do that, all of a sudden they're going to hold you accountable, right? And they'll keep asking you. So there's power in doing that. I love that story. I love what you can learn from sports. I have more, but we'll probably leave those for another day.
Oh, dude. No, I mean, I think knowing a little bit about you and like who you are and hearing these stories, I mean, and then going back to like Rudy, who you had at your retreat, you know, like, you got this underdog feel to you, right? Like, and I think you've proven that yourself, right? Like, maybe you felt that a little bit in you, and you've proven like, everybody loves a good underdog story. You lost your job 3 times. You know, you were the small kid. You did this stuff, and now look, like, not only was I the underdog, but now I'm helping everyone. Like, I just think it's cool, man. It's inspiring to me. I think it's super cool.
Well, I try to be cool.
It's working.
Thanks.
Yeah, what I was going to add on for Tommy is, when you were younger and you had this doubt, like you said, and you got picked on, and then your parents were telling you were going to quit and everything like that, what were kind of the tools do you think that you had to use to kind of keep yourself to keep going? I guess, like, was it a group of people? Did you have like a support group, or like, what were the ways that you kind of like, you know, you've always had this internal fire to be like, I'm going to do something, but was there anything that you can stick out growing up and going through the adversity you went through that you were like, these are probably the contributing factors to why I became successful?
Yeah, I think getting around people that believe in you, is so, so important.
Yeah.
And ignoring those that don't. There will always be those naysayers. So choose who you're going to subscribe to, the naysayers or those cheering you on. And my parents, I grew up, like I said, I had a great middle America life. I mean, mom and dad that made dinner not just on Sunday, but all week long. We had dinner together, and they would ask me how my day was and expect me to say I had a good day. And if not, like, they wanted to know why. And if I signed myself up for something, they were going to be there and cheer for me. And my mom, she kept coming to me like in the mornings of wrestling matches my freshman year, and she'd be like, "Are you going to win tonight?" And I was like, "Mom, you've seen, don't ask that." And she's like, "Well, if you don't believe it, then you won't." I said, "Well, I don't believe it." And sure enough, I didn't win, but she taught me that. And the power of positivity was something both my parents kind of drilled into me, and that helped. As an adult and as a founder, the greatest confidence builder and cheerleader in my life is my wife. And, I joke that the day I talked her into marrying me was definitely my proof that I was going to be good at sales. She's a smoke show. I married way out of my league. But more important than her beauty on the outside is that she is, through to her core, a good-hearted woman. And if I have nothing, if I lose it all tomorrow, she's still going to stay by my side. And having that faith as a founder that everything will work out and she's not going to leave me if I don't have money anymore is really powerful.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got the opportunity to meet your wife at your retreat, and she was just, awesome. I probably talked her ear off for like 20 minutes. And
Really?
she's probably like, "When will this dude shut up?"
No, she subscribes, man. She's all in on what Devin Hess is doing.
That's so cool. She's so nice,
Yeah.
man. And I asked her about your kids and everything, and just, I don't know, I can tell that there's just a love there, right?
Yeah.
And it was cool. It was cool to get to see just, not just this side of Stu, but, the family side, and see how, the other people that are around you. And your wife, yeah, dude, she's awesome. What's up, Lindsay?
Okay, yeah, Linz, you better tune into this. She never listens to my podcast.
My wife doesn't either.
I'm gonna make her tune into this one, but I'm gonna make my mom and dad tune into this one too, because I want to give them another shout out. Something cool that my parents do that helped me as a kid when my grandparents did it. That's a family reunion. So, like I said, I'm number 6 of 8 kids. So family is always important and always part of a big family. But my mom is one of 7 kids, and her dad would book a cabin on Henry's Lake in Island Park, Idaho every summer. And we would drive from Washington. Like, one of us had to just kind of lay on the top luggage the whole way there. We didn't all fit in cars in seatbelts. But we would spend a week fishing in the morning, boating and water skiing in the afternoon, go to Yellowstone one of the days. And we did that with our aunts, uncles, and cousins. And that time with all these other family members that I only saw once a year was like my fan club. I felt like, as a kid, that's how it felt. Like, I had a fan club of people that were cheering me on, even from afar. Like, DJ is my bro in Boise that I see once a year, right? Because I'm in Portland area. My dad, when he sold, my dad's career story, I didn't tell you the rest of it, but man, that guy lost everything, rebuilt. And when he sold his shares in a business he got part ownership in, when he retired at like 63, was millions of dollars. And what he did was he took a good chunk of that money and put it into a 70-bed lake house in Island Park, Idaho. Why 70 beds? Because it sleeps all of his children, his in-laws, and his grandchildren in beds. And it's a memory maker. Once a year for a whole week, we all come, and no one misses.
That's
no
awesome.
one. Like, if someone's missing, they have a big life event. And my kids, for their whole life, have been able once a year to be cheer-led by all their cousins and aunts and uncles. They are a rock star. And I don't know, like, how much value you could really put on that, like, for what that does for a human being. But I can tell you, it is massive, massive.
It's so cool, man. I got to see the cabin.
Yeah, you've been to the lake house,
dude. And it was sweet. And I was like, man, this is a dream. And not just because of, it's obviously cool, but it's the experience of, like, everyone has a bed in their own room, and you get to you can have 70 people there, and it's not just like a everyone's just touching each other.
It's not like a crammed
Yeah.
experience. Everyone still feels like they got some elbow room.
Yes.
And there's some really cool elk on the walls and some a mountain lion my dad shot on the wall.
Dude.
He's going to add a buffalo on my birthday.
Really?
Sweet.
We're going to go hunt buffaloes.
I think I need to meet your dad.
That's
cool.
He's at 71 years old. He is looking so good and doing so well. I'm so happy to get this time with him where we can still go out in the mountains and hang out.
That's awesome.
Is he still here? Is he local here?
Yeah, he moved here. So
Okay.
my parents raised us, spent all of their married life really in the state of Washington. They're high school sweethearts from Blackfoot High.
Oh, wow.
And then they went and served a mission for 2 years in right neighboring Croatia in a small country called Montenegro. It was a humanitarian aid mission. And then after that, they decided they would let my brother and sister-in-law stay in their house in Washington, and they bought a home in Brookside, so just on the other side of the Dunes neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Sweet.
So they're Idahoans now.
Hold
you're-
on. All right.
And he's 71. You said he's happy, healthy. He's good.
He's doing great, having raised 8 kids, ran
Dang,
through
man.
a whole career. He's so healthy and doing great, man.
What's his life like day to day now?
Today he borrowed my flatbed trailer to drive a new extra canoe he bought. I mean, he must have got a good deal. So who buys a canoe in November?
Picked up a sweet setup.
Yeah. So, and he's got the time and he just loads it up and goes and takes to Island Park. And
That's
I'm
cool.
guessing he's lifting in and out by himself, right?
Independent.
That's cool, man. I'm reading a book called Ikigai. It's a Japanese way of living. And they talk about healthy adults. I mean, not adults, but healthy 100-year-old people. And how it's staying happy and moving and relationships and community is huge for that. So it sounds like your dad's, already well on his way to pulling that off of just being a healthy old person, man.
Well, Clayton Christensen wrote a book, How Will You Measure Your Life? I don't know if you know who Clayton Christensen is, but he was an LDS professor at Harvard University. And he was really famous for his business research. And in his research, in that book specifically, he talks about the rocking chair test. That when you're 80 years old and sitting in a rocking chair, will you be proud of what you're working on? And so if you're 30 years old and you're doing something and you're unhappy, ask yourself, would you be glad to be sitting there in a rocking chair talking about this when you're 80? And if not, get the heck out of there and do something better with your time, right? So my dad in his 71-year-old rocking chair today gets to talk about what he did with his career. And that's nice. But you know what my dad talks about the most? His lake house and his time with his family and counting down the days. And he literally has a countdown on his phone. And he lives in dream. He's living his dream, and it's so neat to get to witness him do that, and to get to have my kids be a part of that.
I know your dad because he was before this board split. He was in our ward. I'm
Oh
pretty
yeah,
sure.
he was.
So I had to look it up. I was like, that sounds familiar.
Oh,
That's
guy.
my dad. Yeah,
That's awesome.
He just it did just split.
Well, twice, but a year and a half ago, whatever it was. But yeah, no,
they've
that's
been volunteering in that Morning Star.
yeah, that's why I know. Yeah, because we go over there and
cool.
my mom's in there now. And
Oh, okay.
but, yeah, that's I think now seeing elderly as my parents have gotten older and my dad passed, and now my mom, having something to look forward to, having something to how you measure your life, and then how you're measuring your life is huge. I don't think there's anything more crucial as we get older to look back and then also look forward to something like your dad's got it on the calendar. Yep, it's going to be a good year, boys. We're going to go to the cabin. It's going to be good.
And,
That's so
and
cool.
he's always messaging about our annual hunting trip. And I'm like, Dad, I got to teach my own kids how to hunt too at some point. But yeah,
That's so cool. And how many kids do you have? I know you've got an older two.
I've
Do you
got
have
4.
younger?
Yeah, so I have an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old, 13-year-old, and a 6-year-old.
So Tate is your oldest.
It goes Tate, Sydney.
Sydney.
She's my pink Tesla driving Barbie girl, 16-year-old.
That's cool.
I think she's 22 already. And she's our battle warrior. She's had a lot of health issues and fought really hard. And then I've got a 13-year-old son that is a math genius and baseball and golf stud. And then I've got a 6-year-old that is our tornado. She is spinning, just going, man. One thing to the next with her. She's a lot of energy.
That's like spreading them out.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
You spread them out when they're that much of a challenge. 2 tornadoes too close together is real havoc. You got to give some space for that.
That's awesome.
That's cool, man. I mean, you're raising some good kids. I just saw this randomly on one of my Venmos, but I mean, I've seen Tate donate to a couple of my.
Oh, has
Things.
he personally? He's never brought that up to me, so that makes my dad heart feel good to hear that. Thanks,
And when I
bro.
saw that, I mean, it's hard to keep up with some of these.
Yeah,
But yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's freaking cool, man. Yeah.
that's cool.
And then, I mean, Tommy's kids are the same way. It's just crazy. There's just some good youth around here, dude.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
that is way cool. There are a lot of good kids.
I want to actually go back to the story about you were talking about with what's his first name, Smith?
Corey Smith.
Corey Smith. And you were talking about like the people that you meet, and then like the impression that you make on them or they make on you or whatever. Like, I think it's so big that, and then about like the jobs you've had and all the things that you've had in your life, like learning from those lessons. It's like you could be totally, we've talked a lot about this where it's like, oh man, I've had 3 jobs and they all sucked. I'm just going to go be comfortable and work at a federal job or something that's not going to shut down. I'm just going to be like, just chill.
Yeah.
But instead you like went out on a limb and you're like, hey, now's my time. Like, I think that's so big. Like, we've talked about this where it's, you don't know when it's your time or when it's like, when you're ready or whatever. You just have to shoot your shot, or you just have to go after something and like put your faith in it and hope it's going to work, but also not only hopium, like you have to put the work in, you have to do it. And then you have to take the steps to do it. Like, how do you feel like you were ready? Or like, what, I know you said like, I'm not ready for this. Like, I don't know if I can quit my job.
Yeah.
Like, what is the biggest thing, like your takeaways from looking back now on all this? You're like, that's when I knew I was ready.
Yeah. Well, I think just like in parenthood, you are never really ready. Like, you're just not.
Yeah.
And so you have to, I think every entrepreneur just finds a way. And if you go through sports like baseball where you lose 2 out of 3 at bats, and that's if you're a good baseball player.
Yeah.
A lot of them that I coach they lose 4 out of the 5 at bats, but like, you get used to, it's okay if it doesn't all work every time. I just got to go get some wins along the way. And so I'm going to get started. For me, I had been through both baseball and wrestling, and those taught that. I had also already joined the parenthood world before I started to get found first. And so I had seen that, like, if it doesn't work out, I'll find something else. Right. And so, but like, knowing when you're really ready to go, I think it's good to try. It's good to, like, there's a lot of entrepreneurial advice out there that's like, oh, just jump out of the plane and build your parachute on the way down, or, like you'll start flying a plane that you're going to be building while you go up in the air. And it's like, no, that's not, I mean, yeah, maybe there's some of that, but for the most part, you can plan well. And if you plan and you prepare, then you'll be able to make things work. You may find that something you thought was going to work in the plan didn't, but because you planned, you're better prepared for adjusting too. So yeah, I don't, as far as what moment I knew, I mean, look, I'd failed at 3 businesses. Luckily, my brother-in-law had 3 record-breaking months of new patients. We were still managing apartments and had an inexpensive way to live month to month. So that's what allowed me to get going.
Nice.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah. That's I kind of prescribe a little bit to the jumping out of the plane, build it as you go down, but only on the fact that it's like that you did work before. Like, I'm kind of along the same lines. Like, what you're saying is that, like, you do the work, you have a plan, and then you jump because you still don't have a wing. You got one, but you got to build that other one to be able to fly right. But it's like, hey, I can't build both of them right now until I actually get out of here,
Yeah, the chairman of Sony said that perfection is the enemy of innovation.
Yeah.
So if you wait to have a perfect plane, you're never going to take off. you have to build, you have to take off at some point. So yeah, it is true that you jump out of that plane going, well, I was able to get on the plane, found a way to get a ticket. I got this backpack, but they told me there's strings that are still not on right, but I'll figure out a time because I got to go. Now's the time. And I think if you asked Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, one guy I love following is the founder of NVIDIA. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's genius. A lot of those guys will tell you, Mark Zuckerberg, those guys are going to tell you that, like, I didn't have it all figured out. And never have I ever had it figured out. In fact, even still 9 years into running StuCant, I kept telling myself, like, oh, it'll be nice next year once we have all this figured out and there aren't problems in the business. No.
Okay.
The business that I'm now just on the board of, I don't run the day-to-day, but they just had their board meeting yesterday and they have problems. It turns out that businesses that are succeeding and growing fast and doing really well have problems. And the more you like embrace that there will be problems and more quickly work to fix them, the better off your business becomes. And Amazon today still has now 15, 20 conference rooms at any one given time all day long where they're talking about a problem and we're going to fix them. That's how it works.
Yeah. I think even going back to this, you're going to need information that you only get from the jump, right? Like you might have some plan, but you still got to jump and you're going to get that other part of the map
Yeah.
or whatever as you are learning falling.
Yeah. That's
You know?
not wrong.
Nope.
That's not wrong.
So I think it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you can have an idea, a general idea. Even with what I've been doing, there's just been things I'm like, didn't see that coming. Or, didn't see this.
Mhm.
There's like, but I never would have known had I just not taken the first, the first however many steps it is.
But you're able to take calculated risks based on some validation that you've received. You went to raise 1,000, but you got 5.
Yeah.
You thought you could get to 20 and then you found a way to get to 60 and oh my gosh, we had a goal for this one to do this and now it's doing this and you go, okay, like I've got some of the equation figured out. I know what the variables are now, and I know if I like keep this same recipe, this is going to work, and then I just have to keep testing and trying some new ingredients along the way, right?
Yep. That's what I've been doing. I would assume it's like that in every business.
Every business, for sure.
That's cool.
Yep.
I want to ask you about your retreats. What was the idea? I mean, when did that start? You just started last year, right?
Yeah. So I had been running the podcast, and the podcast is 47 episodes in now, and it's not making me any money. And when I was probably 13, 14 episodes in, I had this idea to just get some of my old buddies from StuCant together to go snowmobiling. And then I was like, well, what if I just created a retreat style event where I invited founders of other businesses to come too? And so that's where the idea stemmed from. And what I've learned is that sometimes you just gotta say you're going to do it. And once you say you're going to do it, now you're committed. So then you're like, okay, now I got to go find a way to make this happen. And that's a good thing to do when you're in the ideation phase. Don't let yourself get so stuck around making it perfect and having a perfect plan. In the ideation phase, it's like, oh, let's see how many people sign up, how many people want to go. And I got over 20 people at the first one, and everyone was raving about their experience and giving me hugs that it was life-changing. I was like, whoa, okay, it worked.
That's cool.
And I'm just like me, I didn't sign up when I decided I was going to do it and said I was going to do one. I was like, well, why don't I just do it 2 weeks in a row and I'll get 2 groups worth of people. I bet I can figure a way to get 2 groups of people to come. And sure enough, I did. And then that made it easier to sell and get people to the 3rd and 4th retreat. And my 4th retreat had 40 people. And these are founders that come at all stages, aspiring founders to exited founders that have sold their businesses or are running a business. Like Jeremy Barker, one of our guests, I didn't realize just how awesome he is. He's got the company Murphy Door. They do those hidden doors.
Yeah.
We should put one on your podcast studio here.
Heck yeah.
But Jeremy's 56 million in annual sales this year. They're growing at 67% year over year. When Jeremy, in his story that he shared with everyone, he lived for a year in his truck, homeless. But guess what? He was the only one who flew in his private jet to the retreat. Okay. And it's like super cool to hear stories like that. For a founder that's aspiring, that hasn't even gotten off the ground yet, to hear someone say, I lived in my truck for a year. I'm okay with nothing, but I'm also the one that gets to be here on my own private jet. That's a really inspiring story. That alone, just that proximity to someone like that thinks like that, that's accomplished like that, you go, I can dream more of what's possible for me now that I've sat.
It's extremely
Jeremy.
motivational.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I think, dude, like the first person to ever do a triple backflip on a wakeboard happened last year. Why? Well, because when we were young kids, they invented wakeboards, and then someone did the first backflip and it made TV, and then social media happened and someone did a double backflip, and then more social media happened and someone said, I'm going to be the first to do 3, and Red Bull happened and funded the video for him to do 3, and Nautique gives him a new boat every year now, and but it's all, we keep pushing ourselves as a human race to do bigger and better and more because we see people accomplish things. And so when you go get with people that are accomplishing things, you now are able to do more than you could before.
I think there's a story about that. Someone running the first mile in under 4 minutes, where it's
What
like,
book's that in?
I don't know. I read it, whatever book it is. I read it.
It was just like, I was listening to it like a week ago.
Really?
It might be The Wealth Money Can't Buy.
I love that book. Have you read that book, Stu?
Wealth
it
Money
is.
Can't Buy. I haven't.
I'm going to get it for you.
right.
I bought it for a couple
Check it out.
people.
Yeah.
Either that or Shoe Dog.
Shoe Dog's a great
Oh, I love
book.
that
One of
book.
the- I think it's
Shoe
Wealth
Dog's
Money Can't Buy,
amazing.
though.
It's not
I think
Shoe
you're
Dog.
right, Tommy.
No.
Yep.
But yeah, they talk about the 4 minute mile, and the first person to break it, they thought it wasn't possible. And then one person broke it, and then all these other people did it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Within
the
like a week, it was like 10 people.
Yeah. And they're like, no, it's just, you have to accept that it is possible.
Yeah.
And then it will happen. Yeah. I don't know. I catch myself in my own things, right? I haven't told anybody this publicly except for like Tommy and a few friends, but like my goal next year is to try to raise $7 million. And it sounds crazy because I've never even raised $1 million. But I'm like, is it possible? Why not? I don't know. And so that's what I was telling Tommy yesterday. I'm like, it sounds crazy to dream that big. I'm just me. I'm just some weird dude in the basement.
Yeah. Well, it's cool because when you get around people who cheerlead for you, believe in you, then all of a sudden you believe more for yourself of what's possible. And so to say, I did $500,000, but next year I'm going to do 7, you don't see us go away. We're like, yeah, dude, go do it. You can do it, and believe in you like that. So, and for me, when I sat next to, like, the retreats were for me to inspire others. Like, I have a goal to help other founders become millionaires. I did it, and I think I can help others do the same. So that's cool, especially because I think good people that are builders that start businesses also go do good with their money. And so, like, I like that. Well, when I'm with Jeremy at the retreat, I'm sitting next to him and he's telling me his story, and he's built a business that's done more in revenue than mine. And he's gotten there on his private jet. All of a sudden, I'm like, man, I can do more. What am I doing? I need to go bigger.
Yeah.
And then I shared my goal that I want to help 1,000 people become millionaires. And for me, that's like a great goal and a good thing to aim for. And Jeremy goes, why only 1,000? And I love that because I decided, by the way, to stick to the number. I'm going to go do 1,000. Doesn't mean that's where I'll end, but right now my goal is 1,000. And I'm not limiting myself that I can't do more. That's where I'm starting.
Yep.
So go, and I'm going to do that through investing in them, having them on my show, having them at my retreats. And I hope and pray that someday there's well over 1,000 people that go, yes, Stu, like he helped me do it. Like he was key.
That's so cool, man.
So yeah, I mean, I hope someone listening goes, oh, I want to go get around Stu. Like, how do I go find my way to him so that he can help me?
I think the cool part is knowing that it has, I mean, it's for you, but like, it's not for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it feels good to know that you could positively influence someone's life in a way that it helps them. And in return, it's like, you just get that feeling of like, dude, this is cool. And you know, I live by the saying, like, all ships rise with the tide. You know, as you're lifting others up, you're going to go up too.
Yeah.
Like, and you might be pulling them down. Like, if you were lifting me up, yeah, I'm way down there. You got to pull me up. But like, I just think it's cool, man. I think it's a good goal. And then the whole 1,000 thing, I'm like, I'm the same. Originally, it was going to just be $1 million. I'm like, I want to raise $1 million. I was like, you know what? I like the number 7. So 7 million, I guess. I didn't want to limit myself at 1 million. So I was like,
Yeah.
screw it. I'm just going to start telling people 7 million and see what the heck happens. If I get no, I'll get past 1 million. In my mind, I'm like, I can.
Maybe you guys have experienced this like I have, but when you set a goal, at first it's like, sucks I didn't reach that goal if you don't reach one. But what I've learned is that if you set a goal and you don't reach it, even though it hurts to not reach it, you got way further than you would have without the goal. So at Stu Camp, we set a goal for our first $1 million year, and it was our third year. And we did $1,050,000. Second year, we set a goal for $2 million, and we did $2,006,000. We literally, like, at the very end of the year, crossed the line. The third year of this, like, big annual goal that we're telling the whole company and everyone's working for it, said, we doubled or nothing last year. Like, let's go find a way to double or nothing again. 4 million. And everyone's like, yeah, like everyone wants it, right? And what happened was we landed at like 3.6. And I was pushing them hard in like October, like, let's go find a way. Let's go find a way. And then it was like, okay, clearly we're not, because ed tech companies make their money in September and January. So cash flows are hard other parts of the year. And I remember it was like, I remember clear as day, like, this isn't going to happen. What do I do? And then I was like, this is actually freaking awesome because I get to go be their hero. They pushed as hard as they could and gave me their all for that 4. And I get to go now and tell them that they don't need to feel bad. They need to feel great about 3.6 because it's a whole heck of a lot more than it would have been if we had only shot for 3. And so many businesses so quickly go, oh man, 10% year over year is hard. Like, that's a lot, especially now that we're so big, like 10%. But letting yourself just think bigger and dream bigger and set bigger goals allows you to go do the work to reverse engineer what it will take to get there. Stu Kent still every year. Like, we already know our 2027 goal. We know our 2026 goal, and we know that we got to plan and work now on what it takes to hit 2027's number. And because we're a goal-oriented, driven institution, like, we make that happen. It'll happen. We
Working
don't
through those problems.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't always get there. We come up short sometimes, but everyone works as hard as they can. We get as far as we could have.
I like that. I was talking to ChatGPT the other day about this,
Oh,
about
yeah?
goals. Yeah.
Awesome.
And so I don't know if Devin's like, or if you know anything about me or whatever, but like my concrete business is on the brink of selling. Like, so the attorney's got the paperwork, whatever, it's about ready to sign. I'm going to do an owner carry on it for a kid who I've known, hunted with a little bit, whatever. I call him a kid. He's, I don't know, probably 30 years old.
Yeah,
but, anyways,
He's a
but
cool dude.
yeah, so I get the opportunity to owner carry it for him, give him an opportunity that he never would have had, to run a business, have a business.
Uh-huh.
And then, but I was talking to Chat about like future goals and what to do. And it's like, what do you want to see yourself do? And what, like, money in 3 years, house in 3 years, and car in 3 years. Or no money, just house, car, and then who's around you. And so, like, who is around me are my closest friends, my family, like people that I care about truly. My car, I said, like, my house, like, I love the house that I live in. It's a great house, beautiful house. Like, I don't need anything crazy. Like, maybe I'll build another one similar to the size, whatever. And then it said, like, car, and I said, I don't know, probably just driving a pickup. Like, even if I'm in the pickup that I'm in now, like, I drive a 2018 Dodge. Like, it's a nice truck, diesel. Like, it's gonna last for a long time. Brand new motor now. And it, like, it ripped me up. Chat was like, you need to stop being
Self-limiting.
Yeah, self-limiting, and you need to dream. You need to have goals that push you and make you, like, grow. And I was like, dude, I told you to, like, be honest, and dang, you're ripping me a new one. But yeah, it was like, you need to really focus and, like, dream big. If you have a goal to just have what you have now in 3 years, that's exactly where you're going to be.
Okay, this is a fascinating topic. I can go for a while.
Good. Yeah.
So, is Chat right or wrong?
I don't know. I mean, there's things that I don't think that Chat is right about necessarily. Or well, I guess I don't think Chat is necessarily wrong, but I also don't think that it's like 100% correct. If
So
that,
how did you feel though when it called you out, when it said, "Bro, come on, think bigger"? Did it feel like immediate? Was your initial reaction like, "Oh, they're right," or was it like, I hadn't thought that way. Maybe, maybe not. What was it for you?
well, this one was, it's right, because I've been thinking a lot about this and like talked to other people and like done some other things on this. And so for that specific instance, it was like, yeah, you're right, chat. Like, I do need to push and dream bigger and have bigger dreams.
I love that, dude. So I was going to say that for me, when I think about AI and how it's talking to me and what it says to me, I have to always caveat it with, it has been taught by the internet. Everything that's on the internet is its brain. And so is everything on the internet true? Absolutely not.
Nope.
Right? Is there a lot of good on the internet? 100%. There's a lot. Think about this. Almost all of the truth of our entire existence from the 60s to now is what the AI knows. It knows so much truth, but it doesn't have a moral compass to distinguish truth from error. And so a lot of what it has learned is go bigger, go bigger, go bigger. And for most people, that is exactly right. Like they need to, and so it's so cool to hear it. It's like gave you what I would have given you. It said, dude, come on, like you don't have to have that 2018. Now you might go, no, dude, cars aren't my thing. Okay, great, like that's okay. Right. But like, is this going to be the house where your grandkids are going to make their dreams come true? Like, is that what you want? You know, like
we're not.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
So, although this is a beautiful home, and it's important that we get to a place in life where we go, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I can be content in this. I think being content is a good thing because if we're always striving for more and more and more, and there's no place where you get to feel okay, then you don't get to work on other parts of your soul where you want to be better. So being okay in your home allows you to sit down and study the good word. And be okay in this home where you study the good word and work on your soul instead of your next dollar. So, man, I'm trying to share some wisdom here. I feel like that's that one I was teaching myself as I said that.
Hey, that's good. That's
I
good.
love it.
So,
I think that's something that is really healthy about conversations like this, where we sit back and just visit. Is you teach yourself in the process as well.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna love the book. That the wealth money can't buy.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it, dude.
It's awesome.
It's like it changed my perspective on everything for real. Like it talks a lot about that, you know. And then I hear the other people talking. It's like, yeah, if you keep putting your happiness, right? Because a lot of people put their happiness in their goals, right? The only thing about your goals is you don't have them, so you don't have happiness. You're always dangling the carrot. You'll never get the carrot, right? Because you're gonna get close to that goal. That's no longer the goal anymore. It's something else. So your happiness is unachievable. The wealth money can't buy talks a little bit about that, and it just talks about a really cool way of life and thinking of like, hey, wealth, yeah. There's like, it talks about 8 forms of wealth. One of them is money. It's like, yeah, you need money to make sure you can have some freedom. But there's far other things. Like there's way more things that make you wealthy. I don't know. It's good, man. It's cool. I think you'll really like it.
Tyler, I'm getting a lot of smiling, nodding head over there.
Yeah, it's a good book. I can hold back I guess I just support a lot of what Devin says. It's like, you know, when you look at your whole family, or you look at like the family or picture of your family, and you always hear like the quotes like, I feel so rich. That book is a lot like that, right? It's not just like putting a dollar sign on everything and being like, that is so cool. Like, yeah, it's a sweet truck you got out there, but does it make you as happy as when you go inside and you see your whole family sitting on the couch and you just hear laughter and joy? And it's like, that's rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the perspective of it, where I'm just like, yeah, that's pinpoints a ton of what that book is about. And where that really hit me is that materialistic things are phenomenal, and it gives you memories, and it gives you a lot of things that are really important, right? Like the lake house, you needed money for the lake house, but at the end of the day, it's not the lake house. It ain't it. That isn't it.
You know what's so cool as you say that? I'm thinking to myself about the times when I screamed with my boat. It wasn't the day I drove it home. it was when my kid landed his first 360
Heck
that
yeah.
I screamed, right?
Of course.
It was my smile was way bigger when my 7-year-old was taking the wheel of the boat for the first time and feeling what it feels like to turn the thing, way bigger than when I drove it home. So
Yeah, that book, one of the memories I always hold with me is my boy. There's a picture of, or there's a video that I have of him when we're going to bed, and we always have, right before bed, words of affirmation, tell him he's courageous and strong. And,
awesome.
give him a quick prayer. We have this little prayer that we do every night, and sometimes it makes absolutely no sense. He's 4. But Ozzy's like, yeah, this is cool. It's what we do, And I have one video that I tried to record it, but it was dark in his room, so I couldn't see him. But all I can hear is his voice, and all I can hear is his giggle. And through, when I was reading that book, that's the video that I have. And like, it makes me emotional thinking about that one, because it's like, that's my rich. That's the wealth my money can't buy.
Yeah.
And so it's a cool experience to see that, like, there's a group of dudes in here that feel the same way. And that book is like, that pinpoints that. It's awesome.
Yeah, the money will come and go. That memory and that time with your kid, don't get that back.
Not at all.
You get to keep the memory forever. Hopefully you get to live a life that allows you to be with them forever. But man, and when you don't take any of the stuff with you when you go.
Mm-hmm.
Quick break. If you're feeling this conversation, hit the follow and keep riding with us. The Real Rebuild is built on real stories, real people, and your support pushes it further. Share with your friends, your family. All right, back to it. I want to go back to your retreats, because that's something that's intriguing to me. Because I've talked to Devin about this, and there's a guy who does, they're not retreats, they're like every other week or every week, once a week, like I don't know what you even call it.
Mastermind or something.
Well, no, they're not even like, they're business oriented, but they're not business oriented. It's Jason Khalipa. He's a world's fittest
CrossFit guy.
CrossFit, but he's like, and so basically what he's done is he's taken his workout knowledge, his physical fitness knowledge, and then he's turned it into like a mentor program, but not in a way most people would think about it. Like when you talk about retreats, you talk about these things, most of it has to do with business and stuff like that. Well, his is all about like making men again.
Yeah.
Because
masculinity.
Yeah. And it's like, because most people, like most men, and not everybody, but they go to work, they come home, and then it's like they don't have interaction with other men. Like just this atmosphere right here, the 4 of us, like the masculinity in this room is more than what majority of males anymore will actually be around. And so his thing was they go to somewhere like a park or maybe a gym or his garage or whatever.
It's a local group then.
Yeah. And they, one morning they get up, it'll be like a 5 a.m. workout. You do 1 hour of workout, whatever it is, anybody can do it. And then you go have like a drink of your choice in the morning. If you drink coffee, orange juice, whatever, and you just socialize. It could be anything from business to church to just like whatever. But my question is that I have for you, like, is how do you like monetarily gain from retreats? Probably is not the best course of like metric, I guess, because I mean, if you think about how much you charge somebody for what you put into it and everything else, it's like, okay, it's pennies on the dollar, right? Like what, I guess, like how do you see it going? How do you see your retreats going? Like I see his as like the masculinity making men like being bigger, and I wanted to do this, I still do in the area, but like what's your metric? Like how do you base that? How do you figure that it's actually worth it?
Well, with the biceps and goatee you have, bro, you are bound to
I don't know about that.
If you do, I mean, people will go, he says he's doing the masculine thing. Like, yeah.
I'm in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I've like multiple times thought, geez, man, I need to work on that.
I just keep up with Devin and Tyler. That's been the biggest thing.
Try
Those guys
to keep up with them, right? Those guys can. I saw some body lifting posts the other day.
That was me and Tommy, dude, doing deadlifts. Yeah. That was Tommy.
That was Tommy pulling up a bunch of weight on the deadlift.
The same amount as weight as me, and he beats me.
Tommy is strong.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool.
We call him Tommy Traps.
Yeah,
Tommy Traps. More pull-ups than anyone, huh?
No, I can't do pull-ups. I can just lift heavy stuff off the ground.
I love it.
Oh yeah, I was thinking lats, not traps. Never mind. Okay, so anyways, as
I
it
mean-
relates to the my vision with the retreats has evolved. I've done 4 of them. Every one of them, it was a different, unique experience. What I try to do is have fun and create a space to get out of your business so you can work on it instead of in it. And then be around people who can help you dream bigger and think bigger than you have been. And that can teach you things that you don't know yet. Hopefully, vice versa, everyone there, whether they're rookie or advanced, can also teach something. Even the rookies have stuff they're bringing to the table. So it's been a really cool mix that way. And it's been fun to see how it, what it evolves into based on the people you have. And every time I've done it, it's kind of like when you throw a party and you're like, I don't know if John will like Jim. Those two might not click, right? But you just let it happen. You bring people together and you prepare some activities and some fun and food. And then you let them make it what it becomes is kind of the approach I've taken. And that has worked really well. I do make people apply to attend my retreats so that I can kind of get a feel for if they're a fit or not. And I've very rarely said it doesn't work. But I think that's in large part because the type of people signing up, they already know who I am. I do a pretty good job of who is Stu online. You can look me up and know. And so the type of people applying are people that already connect and click pretty well with me. So as far as what I see it evolving into, I'm going to do less of the ultra beginner aspiring founder types at the retreats and provide a better online community that can support them. Because the people that haven't, if you're just getting started and you're still in the idea phase of your business, you can definitely get a lot of value, but the amount of value you bring to the person that's already exited a business or already gained a lot of traction is very little in return. And so I'm trying to find the sweet spot where everyone can really add good value. And so I'm working on that, but the online community is how I'm going to be able to help 1,000. I can't do it all. I mean, it'll take a lot of years and a lot of retreats. I'm trying to keep them fairly small because I want to do fun adventures. Like snowmobiling together is fun. Going to lunch in the middle of the snowmobile trip and talking about what crazy things happened is fun. But then also sitting down next to someone that you don't know yet that's in the concrete industry and you're in the software industry, all of a sudden you start going, hey, dude, I heard you talking about this with your construction business. I wonder if what I've learned from my software business could apply, right? And all sorts of cool new relationships have happened post-retreat, that was the biggest takeaway for me from year one with these retreats I've done I've had over 100 people come. And there's new businesses that have formed from people that met each other and partnered at the retreat. Wally Ross Kelly, one of my attendees, he's a 9-time American Ninja Warrior participant. And Rudy Rudiger, one of my speakers that I had come, was like, I want my picture with Wally. Wally wasn't asking Rudy for a picture. Rudy wanted a picture with him. And so you never know what kind of connections happen when you bring people together, but there's power in gathering, right? So yeah, I think if you go to do what you're talking about doing, I'm in. I'll come participate, support.
Perfect.
I think I need that.
Right?
I'm not joking.
Yeah, he needs way more masculinity.
Well, I think about when I first started, the things that not catapulted me, but definitely kept me going, and the relationships that I still have now were through mentorship, or not necessarily even mentorship, but networking, whatever you want to call it. But the people that I met at groups, going to real estate investment meetups, stuff like that, are still people I talk to and still people I bounce ideas off of. Whereas I don't know, I probably met 500 people elsewhere, but maybe they brought some kind of knowledge or they brought something to what I do. But the people that I actually went to these groups with here and there were the people that I gained from and gleaned relevant, good information.
Yeah. And maybe you'll agree with this. You never know what you'll get out of it until you're there. And then even after you attend, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get out of it. But then years later you go, oh yeah, because I met them at that. then we stayed in touch, and years later, that turned into them sending me this one contact and deal that was massive for my business.
Yeah, that goes along with what you said about Smith. Like you kept it was just a relationship, just build relationship.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a relationship of like one of these days, I'm just going to get this guy to give me 25 grand.
No, not at all. It was never like that. And I think that's the right way to approach the networking that you do is if you go into it looking for what you're going to get out, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, it's totally the wrong reasons. They're going to feel it too.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's like even one thing, you know, that I'm grateful for is like I have these people I've surrounded myself with that have far surpassed anything I've ever done. But the amount of information they've given me is, I'm just grateful, you know? It's like, thank you. And not everything's going to be a monetary return, you know? But in a connected way, it could be. But for the most part, for even with what I'm doing, I've met these people who have experienced life and building business and what it's like, and you know, experience doubt, experience all this stuff, and they can give you a direction and cheerlead, you know, and you need that. Like
100%.
It's cool. And going to your retreat, the one I went to, first of all, Wally made me feel like I was his best friend. I was like, that guy's cool, man. Like,
Neat.
he was so cool. Loved him. And then he came with Bubba, right? Yeah, him and Bubba are buddies.
Yep.
And getting to meet him was really cool. How do you find your speakers?
This is going to sound funny, but 10 years of growing Stu Kent is how I find speakers. What I mean by that is like the success of being able to say, Stu Draper is an Inc. 5000 honoree 10 times. He's built 2 companies that have been on the Inc. 5000, fastest growing companies in America, 10 times. Okay. Now, because I did all that work and hustled for that and grinded those years, now but I reach out to Bubba, who's been on the Inc. 5000 list 5 times. I say, dude, I've followed you on social media from afar. Actually, my wife follows you as well, I found out. And she's a big fan, and I am now too. And I have these retreats I do, and I think you're a perfect fit. And by the way, I saw that you've been on the Inc. 5000 list 5 times. I'm an honoree as well. I don't go, I've been on it 10. And I got 5. But like that's a big part of how I'm able to get that caliber of individual to come. I paid for Rudy Rudiger to come, and I did that for selfish reasons. Like I thought it would be really cool to have him do like a fireside in my backyard for the boys, and that's actually the first time I met you in person.
Yep.
So Rudy Rudiger from the movie Rudy, like, ate dinner at my kitchen table, and I got to have him sign a jersey for me and for 3 other friends that I wanted to give them to, which I still need to do a couple of those. But like, it's been like getting him there was cool because then I could say, and Rudy's coming, which helped get more people to the retreat. But even more important than that, it helped speakers go, oh, he gets that caliber of speaker at his retreats, and I get to say I'm on the same stage as Rudy. Right. So yeah, there was a lot of reasons why I did that and how that all worked out. That's as far as Bubba getting there. I don't know if Bubba would even care that much about Rudy, but I think my story is compelling for a guy like Bubba. So,
yeah. What about Jim? Is his name Jim Barker?
Jeremy.
Yeah,
Jeremy Barker. I just reached out on LinkedIn. So that's over 15 years of building my LinkedIn to over 15,000 followers. And so when I reach out and I can have the byline of the success I've had, he's like, oh, this guy's legit. Like, I'm going to take time to respond when he invites me to come to one of his retreats.
That's awesome. Hearing his story, like, bro, because when we're there, we're hearing, like, I feel like you guys are already levels, like, above me. And then I hear him speak about, like, what he's building and then what the other thing he's building, like this app thing. I'm like, holy crap, dude. Like, it's like a whole, like you said, it's a whole nother level. It like helps you dream bigger. On mine, I'm like, you're defying what's possible to me now. But like, it's just like crazy. But it was really cool to be around people like that and get to meet people that, you can just be like, hey, I can tell these wild dreams that I have and not feel like an idiot.
So sometimes I've found in my career, you just got to trust your gut and go at the right time. So Jeremy came to our 3rd retreat, which was the one you attended, right?
The one in Island Park, yeah.
In Island Park.
Mm-hmm.
And it went Oh man, I think you might have come to the last one. Yeah. Anyways, he came to the third retreat, and when he was at the third retreat, the audience ate up everything he said. Everyone that was there was like, "This guy's the man," and everyone was taking tons of notes and really learned a lot from him. And he had taken time to fly up in his own private jet and said, "Hey, by the way, if you have anyone in Utah that wants to last minute hop in the plane with me and come up, feel free." So I got a video guy that's really good at social media that I've been wanting to work with. And I said, "Dude, you're down in Utah. Any chance you can break away from work and come up?" So he hopped on the plane. They picked up Corey Smith, my friend that had invested in me, in Idaho Falls, so that Corey could also come up for the day. And it was so cool to have him make that kind of investment in me, because I didn't pay him a penny. He did that all on his own dime.
Oh, wow.
And because of that, part of the retreat was we had these e-bikes. One of the businesses that was in attendance had e-bikes, so they wanted to bring them up to demo and let people see. So Jeremy took a liking to the e-bike company. He's talking with them and he's riding the e-bike. And I'm like, I think he likes these. And I know my audience likes them. So I said, "Which one do you like, Jeremy, the most?" And he pointed at one. I was like, "Okay, that one's yours, bro. Next time, if you come back to my fourth retreat, that one's yours." And so I got him to come back a second time. He flew again the second time. And because he flew the second time, he couldn't get the thing on his plane to take it back. Too big. So I put it in my truck, and then I got a full tour of his offices. And we've made a really cool friendship now. It's not just a one-time business
connection.
relationship
Yeah.
that comes and goes from
Networking.
a retreat. Yeah. So
He seems really cool, dude. That's funny. The people that had the e-bikes, so I know, what's their last name?
the Erickson
Erickson.
family. Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, I had an e-bike business,
Oh, did you?
and I used to get all my stuff wrapped by them, everything, dude. I had like one summer where I sold $225,000 worth of e-bikes all through social media.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even have an inventory. I would just get leads. I'd be like, all right, it's this deposit. And then I would hit up the company and they would just send me as many as I wanted. If it was one, if it was five, and I would just build them, dude. It was fun.
Surrounds, or what were you making?
They were called e-rides.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, it was fun. And then, yeah, my e-rides, I went to their shop and I would get them templated because he owns
Yeah.
Deviant. He's part of,
Inc.
yeah. So I know the owner of Deviant, or Mac. Mac really started, I think, textile. I don't know.
Textile graphics. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool guys up there, man.
So that office is where Stu Kent got its. Well, that was our first office. We were their neighbors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that is cool,
Yeah, yeah.
man.
Those are good people, man.
Oh, they're
Really cool
awesome.
family.
Yeah, I went to Heydays with me and him. Yeah, me and
You went
Tyler.
to Heydays?
Yeah, I went to
Oh,
Heydays with them.
With Trevor Erickson?
Yeah, dude, it was last year.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
last, and it was so fun, man. Like,
That
holy
was
crap.
crazy.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool event, huh?
Yeah, it was a blast. It was awesome.
The e-bikes were fun. There's not a whole lot of money in them, but it was enjoyable.
Of the 225 that you sold, how much did you take home?
Oh, dude, I had two business partners in it. I honestly have no idea.
Take home.
And I was really the only person doing anything. It was rough.
But they
and
were buying them for you. They were up front.
They would
for the
float money. Yeah, they would float
That
money.
helps.
Yeah,
Need
it
that.
definitely helped. So yeah, it was a fun venture. And then I would just deck them out. I would customize them. So I'd always get an extra bike for me, and I would customize it, sell it, and I would just make more money that way. But it was fun, dude. I enjoyed that. Just not I don't know. I got out at the right time because this year it totally tanked for a minute because of the China thing and the tariffs, all the crap. Yeah. Anyways, but it was super fun. But that's how I know the Ericksons. So super cool people.
Yeah. So if you want to network into someone and you find out that they're into e-bikes and that you think that relationship is really worth it, you could do something as big as being like, "Hey, I have a good deal I'm able to get on an e-bike, and I've been wanting to connect with you for a long time. I know you're busy, but if I gave you an e-bike, would you take time for me?" That's a crazy investment, but for the right opportunity, it might be the right investment, right? You always hear people talk about golf and how so much business is done on a golf course. Well, that's because if you're paying for someone to go golfing that loves golf, then that's a good idea. But actually inviting someone to go golfing to do business with them, if they don't like golf or don't know you yet, it might not be the right thing either. And so it's good to understand what people care about and do that. Like if someone's really into horse racing, get some tickets to the Kentucky Derby and tell them I got an extra ticket. Who's that extra ticket for? Well, I bought it for you.
You don't know me, but it's for you. That's cool, man. Yeah. I wish I could have soaked in more of that just information. There's so much information at your retreat, man. And I was just like, Dude, I mean, personally, that's when Tanner passed, right?
Yeah.
And dude, I was wrecked. I was just like, once I found that out, just like checked me out. But it was still cool to like be a part of all of that. And I don't know, even know if I told you thank you properly, but dude, it was really cool to come and be a part of what you put together, man.
So glad you did.
Yeah, it was super.
I
cool.
hope more people listening will choose to come. They're great.
Well, you've got 2 coming up, right? One in St. George and one in Island Park.
Yeah, we're going to do an ATV riding trip in St. George, Utah, January 20th through the 23rd. So we're actually doing 3 nights for that one. And then January 27th through the 29th in Island Park, Idaho, we'll go ride snowmobiles. So,
do you have your guests picked out yet? Or are you still working on it?
The guest speakers?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Raleigh Williams sold Alcatraz escape rooms to an organization. He also had some trampoline parks.
He was on your podcast just last week, or not last week.
He's a recent episode.
Yeah,
26 million in sales is how much he sold his business for. And then the other speaker is Adam Newman, who sold Monkey Bar Storage that he helped his dad take from almost zero to hero. And they sold that for tens of millions as well. And Adam is actually a neighbor. He has a neighbor lake house up there in Island Park. So it'll be really fun to have him again. He came as a guest and now he's going to come as a guest speaker. And then I have some other really cool guests. We have Capital 11, a venture capital fund out of Boise. They're going to come to the one in Island Park. And we have Startup Ignition, a venture capital fund out of Utah that's going to go to the one in St. George. And they're going to be doing business boot camp style stuff. So there'll be a little bit more formal training this time than I've done in the past. I think that's a good thing. I've got 2 other speakers I'm working on, but I'll save those announcements for later.
You can tell me after.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, what do you do? Just you guys rent a bunch of snowmobiles up at Island Park,
I
and
just
then
worked with
rent razors
Dutch at Action Motorsports. He owns High Mountain Adventure up in Island Park, and I just got a text message a little bit earlier today that they're working on making sure they've got enough for me, and I need a lot this time. I think we'll have about 40 people come. So
Dang.
If we do, then we'll split into 2 or even maybe 3 groups. What's cool about it is you can be a very beginner snowmobiler and have a great time and be safe. You can be an advanced snowmobiler and still have a really fun time because of where we go. There's off trail terrain,
Yeah.
So we make it fun for everybody. And if we split into 3 groups, that helps with that too, right? And it's everything included. So when you pay to come to the retreat, all of the fun and food and stay is included. Don't pay extra for any of that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was fun. We went horse riding.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a blast.
And one of the business owners of the ATV rental company we're using in St. George had come to one of the summer retreats in Island Park and was like, dude, come down to St. George and I'll take care of the ATVs. So super cool of him to help out that way. And
That's sweet.
yeah. So he's like, but you got to let me come to the snowmobile retreat because I'm going to bring my snowmobile. So
Yeah.
he'll be at that too.
That's cool, man.
And what's extra cool about that is that's someone who's like wanting to come for a 3rd time because he'll be at the one in St. George and he's already been to one. So people are catching on to like, oh, it's good to keep reconnecting, not just go
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask that. Like, do you think it's ever going to be like saturated to where it's like, probably not.
Yeah. I mean, I think here's the thing. If you come for just information, then one time's enough because you'll get a lot of the same type of content. New speakers, some new information, but is it worth the value of 3 days away from work to just get information? I don't think so. I think the reason to come is because you want to connect with additional business owners, reconnect with really good people you want to keep building relationship with. That's why you'd come back. And I take no offense from someone that's like, once was enough for me. That's no problem.
Yeah. So your tickets are already live for these next ones.
Yeah. You go to startupswithstu.com and you can find the path there.
How come to ask for your social security number in blood?
Yeah. Yep. I make sure they give me everything.
I gotta know. No, dude. Yeah, that was a fun thing, man. I want to go back to like this dreaming. I don't know. I'm a big dreamer, but like even what we're doing right here, it all ties into like all of us dreaming. I did this 7-week online course where we read the book, The Wealth Money Can't Buy. I put together all this stuff that I learned in therapy and like just my own life and put it into like a 7-week structure. And in that structure, we dream, like part of it's dreaming and just like thinking big and knowing that like you're in a safe place to tell these people your crazy ideas,
Yeah.
you know? And Tommy, I mean, being in the concrete world, and then Tyler as well, we're like, hey, we want to start a podcast. And I was like, well, let's do it. Now look at us here. Like, we're just freaking doing it, man. And it's like, I don't know. It's cool as you dream and then putting yourself in a group of people that can allow you to dream and help you pull it off if possible. But I want to know some of your dreams other than the 1,000 millionaires. What else you got going?
I'll tell you a funny story. My wife is very careful now what dreams she has that she tells me about because I'm going to make them come true.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to find a way to make it a reality. And she's like, but that means he's going to go focus super hard on that. Is that what I want him spending his time and money on? Right. So, and she's actually really content. She's like not someone that needs a lot or is trying to hit these. She doesn't have a lot of crazy extra big goals. She's like, I wanted to be a mom. I'm doing that. I love that I have a pool in my backyard. Didn't even think that would ever happen to me. Like, you've made my dreams come true, Stu. Like,
you did it.
Yeah. Like, take me on warm vacations to warm places or move me away from Idaho Falls. As long as the warm vacations keep coming, we'll stay. So, like, yeah. But so for me, my other dreams, man, I dream to one day get to have that life my dad has where all the cousins want to get together and my grandkids still love me and want to hang out with me and laugh with me. Like, that's a big part of my dream. And I dream of having, I crave like freedom, deep freedom where like, you guys want to go to Florida like next week? Okay, let's go. And we just go. Right. That is the type of freedom that I want to have. And so, yeah, that's probably going to happen for me. Right. And then, I mean, in some regards, that already has. If I really want to, I can make that happen. But like on my own plane, I can't yet. And then I dream of being able to serve the Lord. For me, like this life is a part of something way bigger beyond this life. It's like right now we get to go through this awesome life experience where our bodies and souls are combined and we're learning and growing and doing and testing and trying and figuring it all out, right? But I believe that it goes so much beyond this life that what I really care most about isn't building millionaires, it's building souls and helping people become what God wants them to become. And so that's the bigger dream. That's like the biggest dream, I think, for me. With my wife, with my kids, the most important to me is I build them. And then beyond there, like I have people in Argentina that 20 years ago I connected with and helped them change and improve. And so to be able to keep doing more of that type of work matters to me. That's important to me. Something I care a lot about. So
that's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a good question. Thank you for asking because I've honestly gotten to a place where I've kind of like, no more new ones for now. I got my dreams. don't get, and new ones means starting new work to get there. And that's okay. But like I said earlier, like I think the idea of saying, hey, content here, grow in other ways. Like,
that's cool.
That's where I'm at.
I mean, you're helping other people's dreams come true with what you're doing. Is exactly what you said. Like, even if your work's not necessarily time and hours, you're investing in people, you know, like actual investments too, you know, getting to meet Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, super cool guy, by the way, 40 feet tall.
Ryan Peterson.
Yeah, dude.
He's helping me with a company called Swintros.
Yeah.
It's a technology that I paid for, and he's helping build the company to grow it now.
That's so sick.
It's a video hiring platform where first impression matters for the job. So instead of spending 15 minutes in an interview, you can watch a minute of them talking about why they're qualified, and you swipe left or right like you would on a dating app. So I think it's going to do really well.
Yeah,
I would think so.
That'd save a lot of time.
He sent me a link the other day. It was some article about Hooters, the restaurant company. this is a company that needs our app.
You ain't lying. We can't get catfished completely.
No.
Now through maybe, I don't know.
But I just the types of businesses where it's all about first impressions, your ice cream scooper, your waitress or waiter, the people that do front desk at any job, like being able to quickly watch a 1-minute video and go, yeah, probably not our type. We can finish there versus like have a full 15 minutes where after the first 1 minute you knew like not a fit.
This isn't happening.
How many people in your position, like being able to grow such big businesses and successful businesses, do you feel like are in line with the same goal that you have of like the time? Because that's something
The time freedom.
Yeah. It's becoming like more prevalent and more like relevant. And as I get older and like, but I am around, like my kids get older, I get older, and like I'm around, I don't know, like I guess quote unquote successful people. Like as your network grows, right? And like your net worth grows, like I feel like more people are like, yeah, it's time is like the commodity now.
Yeah. Well, time's such an interesting thing. As you get older, every moment of time becomes a smaller percentage of your life, right? So like 2 years when you're 20 to go on a mission for 2 years, that's 10% of your life. It feels like so much. But then when you're 40 and you think back on your 2-year mission from 20 years ago, you're like, wow, that was a blink of an eye. It happened so fast. So yeah, your life's going faster. So you feel this need to make sure you're getting the most of it. For me personally, in selling my ownership in Stu Camp, I wanted more time for my family. And then I realized my family doesn't actually want that much more time from me. That's weird, right? And it wasn't that they don't love me. It wasn't that they don't want time with me. It's that they still have to go through school. They still have to go to their sports activities. She still has to get her workout in that is like her very sacred time. Like, I don't want you to come work out with me. I do my workout, my routine my way. Like Lindsay's like, yeah, from the time the kids go to school till they come home, like I got my routine and I don't need you during that time. Right. And, but I want to date every week with you. I want to go on vacations with you, So for me, the ability to not miss any baseball games.
Yep.
Like if there's a road trip somewhere for baseball, like I am not going to be called to some meeting I can't say no to anymore. That's those days when I finished the exit from my business, like those days are over. That won't happen to me anymore. And I'll never like go back to that. No,
Yep.
That's a blessing for why I sold. And a big part of why I did it when I did was 2 things. One, the time to be able to do that, but then the money of being able to, like, if they want a cooler, better bat for their for baseball, like, yeah, let's do it. We'll go to Al's tonight, right?
Yeah.
Like that's I wanted to be able to have my oldest son go while I was home. Dad bought the cooler boat. Dad paid for us to go on ski trips. Dad took us to Mexico and we built a school together. And I'll never forget when my dad showed me how blessed I was compared to what their life was like. Those types of experiences were why I chose to do it when I did it. I could have held Stu Kent longer. It would have grown more and I would have had a bigger check. But the check was already big enough. And the ability to enjoy it with my oldest still at home meant a lot to me. Yeah. So
Yep. There's a lot of unpack on that. Because I agree with you 100%. Like that's why I got out of law enforcement. Like, because I miss so much of like my kids' life and everything, Christmases, Thanksgivings, like all of that. And then, yeah, like I lost out on so much of that time. And then, like business wise, it's the same thing. It was like I lost out on a lot of that. And then like physically, my body, my mental state, like whatever. And then, but yeah, to be able to go and do those things, like coming up with goals now of like what's to come. Like that was one of the things that I said, like at 3:00 every day, I want to be done with whatever it is. Like work is 3:00 in the afternoon, done completely. And then and the same thing, like when it's family time or it's like, hey, we want to go on a trip, we're going. Like, yeah, we're not going to go to like, some crazy $30,000-$40,000 vacation, but it's like, hey, let's go to Mexico and go spend 5 days and, wherever. And it's like, yeah, that's fine. Let's do it. And it doesn't have to be like, well, we can't do it this time because of this or whatever. Like, yeah, that I love that. That's a huge goal.
Yeah. So, okay. But along with that goals, because I think that for the blue collar listener, the 9-to-5er guy, there you hear that and you go, yeah, I want that too. And it's good to want that. It's okay to want that. But also, like, I've found that even though I can do that now, my family's lifestyle doesn't always still permit that. We were going to do a trip to Bandon Dunes. My father-in-law came back from 3 years serving as a mission leader in Mexico. We had planned, like, all of us were going to go to Bandon Dunes. Well, cousin Ashton has basketball, varsity basketball. He can't leave at this time. And fall, we're going to be having fall baseball tournaments and we can't go at that time. And next thing you know, like, the golf trip that's expensive but really fun just like fizzled into, it's not as important as these other things are to their normal everyday life that they still want to live. And so you can do you can make all of your kids' dreams come true with 3 weeks of vacation a year. With your 3 weeks of paid vacation a year is what I mean when I say that. You don't need to take them on 3 trips even. You take them on 1 trip and then you use the other 2 weeks of time off to support them in their events and things. And your kids will think you are the superhero best thing that ever happened to them. Like I'm number 6 of 8 kids. Our dad and mom are our heroes, right? And my mom was always there for us and cheerleaded us. And our dad was busy. But every year he took us to family reunion. And a couple of times in our life, we got to go to Disneyland. And he took us on a backpack trip every summer. And we would go snow camping on a weekend. And we would go snow skiing. And he was financially struggling to be able to provide that level of memories for us. And he is our absolute hero. He nailed it as a dad. So don't feel like if you're listening and you're not someone who's aimed at millions of dollars or seeing yourself as someone who's going to have that kind of exit, don't feel bad because that's it. Having all the money is not what your kids actually care about. They don't.
That's a good perspective, man, because I've actually experienced that, just having more time. I mean, I don't have all the money, right? But more time, right?
Mhm.
Like I can do more things, which is cool. Like I have this freedom that I've never had.
You can coach the kids' football team.
But when it comes, like when I was dreaming, it's like, I want to be able to live in Florida for a month or go to Arizona for a month and just see what it's like to live all these places. But that doesn't mean my family can do that.
Mhm.
Like they got school, they got sports, they got all this stuff. And I'm like, man, we just schedule our whole lives away. That's what I tell my wife. Let's go experience some stuff. And she's like, probably like Lindsay. She's like, no, I like my life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I like your life too. So it is funny. I'm experiencing what you're speaking about.
Yeah. I just kind of go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I kind of had the same type of situation last weekend. Blakely, my daughter, she's 8. Ozzy, he's 4. Blakely's in basketball right now. Ozzy's in wrestling and hockey. But just last weekend, we're off from Montana. My whole family's from Montana.
cool.
And we go up as much as we can. We've been going up quite a bit lately, and we love it up there. That's what the kids dream about.
What town?
Darby, Montana.
Darby.
Bitterroot Valley. Claim to fame is the Yellowstone, that TV series now. That's where it's filmed.
That's where it is.
Yeah. So anyways, last weekend we were going to go, and Blakely had a basketball game, and she didn't want to go. She didn't want to miss basketball. We had this whole weekend planned out. We were going to go do something fun. And it was like, okay, we wanted to go do something vacation-wise, spur of the moment. We're like that a lot. And then we ended up not, because B wanted to go to her game. We were like, okay, we got to go to the game. That's the obligation. She wants to do that instead. And then Blakely killed it at the basketball game. And it was so sick to see, because it was like she was excited. And that's what it made me think of when you thought about everybody's got their own life, right? It's like mom and dad we had it planned. This is what we were going to go do.
Mm-hmm.
And then, changed because Blakely has her life and we're supporting it. And it was like, we talked about it after, like, man, that would really suck if we would have missed
that fun experience. Yeah.
Because now she talks about it and she's like, I want to go to practice. And now she's driven and motivated to go to practice this weekend or her game this week and stuff. So yeah, it's different. Cause like I said, we're not on the caliber of money of you, but it's nice to know, it's humbling to know that like the goals or the choices that we're making I feel the same way internally about my life,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because I still get to see my kids do the stuff that I'm like, I'm a really good dad.
Yeah, no, that's great,
And-
dude. I love it. Yeah, you're spot on. That's
So-
your daughter cares more about. I mean, whether it was to Montana or Mexico,
Didn't
she
matter.
cared more about you cheering for her
Did
in
not
that
matter.
basketball.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
100%.
It was awesome.
Now, if it was Disneyland for the weekend, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
you
would
would
have to
skip
work some
basketball.
overtime.
That's cool. I'm just learning over here. I'm just soaking it in now.
This is a house learning doctor.
Yeah.
We also become best friends.
Dang, that's super cool. It's funny. Yeah, I haven't heard anybody talk about this. So this is like the first time I've heard someone else explain that to me.
Yeah, the part about like when you have the time freedom yourself or the money freedom yourself, your family still has life.
Yeah, dude. And I like, it's messed up because in my mind, I'm like, no, your life is my life and we're going to do this.
Well, I'll give you a fun example of like choosing hard versus choosing easy because you have money. So I have 4 acres. My sons and wife got sick of taking care of horses on the 4 acres when I was on business trips. So they were like, you're selling those. So I sold the horses, and between boating and baseball, that's all we had time for in the summer. So I was okay with that. It was like, what am I going to do with this pasture? I don't want it to just look like crap all the time. And so I tore out the fence and I put in a baseball field. Well, that's awesome. And it was nice too, because it meant I could now put like an automatic sprinkler system on it, and it's nice green grass, 4 acres of house and green grass with a baseball field. But the dirt loves to grow new weeds. And you know what's awesome about that? I got a 18-year-old that knows how to work, and he's helped take care of that. I got a 13-year-old that hates work. He's really smart, and so he'll be the kid that like always finds a way to work smart, not hard. But he's learning that like there's jobs and they got to get done, and that baseball field isn't going to have a weed on that dirt. And so they take care of that. And I bought a walker mower. I could have paid a mowing company and it probably would have looked a little better, but Beckham can go and zip that lawn with that 74-inch wide mower deck. And he always complains that his back's sore at the end because you push it from the front. His arms are a little short. So he has to like really lean forward. But man, I'm so glad his back's hurting.
Yeah.
And the other day we I kept, when I built my fun barn, it has all sorts of cool stuff, but it's got 4 stalls for horses. Someday I'm going to have horses again. And I have a riding arena that I built off of center field, the baseball field. And I've never got around to putting the fence up. Well, Tate was like, Dad, what projects could I do? I want to get some extra money and work before I go on my mission. I was like, I've been wanting to put up that fence, bro. And so we bought one of those diggers, post hole diggers, that's got a big 8-inch auger, and the 2 of us were manhandling those holes out. And there's an easier way to do that, a cheaper way to do that. The easiest is pay a real pro company to do it. Ours won't look as good, but Lindsay doesn't care, and she's not a detail person, and it's kind of out of eyesight from the back windows of the house. But Tate knows how to work, and Tate will never forget that week that Dad and I sweat our butts off building that fence.
That's cool.
Right. So you can choose to pay for everything, but when you have money, you got to get really intentional about making sure your kids are still learning that it doesn't grow on trees, and you got to find ways to get jobs done.
What's that saying? The hard times create.
Oh yeah.
It's like hard times create
Hard
tough men or something like that. Easy
That
times.
Joe Rogan quote is awesome.
And they talk about, like, I heard it about in Dubai, because it said like my dad rode a camel, or like my grandpa rode a camel, my dad drove a Jeep or something, and then I drive a G-Wagon. My kids are gonna drive a Ferrari. Their kids are gonna ride camels.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh yeah, because you don't get taught how to work.
Yeah.
There's no work ethic. Like, it's just the money just is the work. But yeah, kids need to learn that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things my dad taught me growing up. He's like, if there's one thing you know when you leave this house, it's how to work. I was like, okay. And that's what I did, man. I had a freaking Jiffy. I mean, he made me start a lawn mowing business when I was tiny because I was a hellion too.
He needed to keep you busy.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was busy. It was like, leave your mom alone. You're bugging the hell out of her. And so I would go mow lawns And then after that, Jiffy Lube. And then I worked on the farm. I got kicked out of my house once, had to go live in my uncle's basement, work on the farm.
You deserved it.
I did. It was fun though, dude.
Did
It
you
was
still
super
know
good.
they loved you?
I was convinced that they did not love me. Yeah.
At that point, you were like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I was
now looking back.
Oh yeah, dude. It was one of the coolest experiences of my life. Like getting to experience that and do that. And also, to be honest, to be gone, like away from, I don't know what it is in my brain, whatever, but like I was adopted.
Mhm.
And so I really had this hard time of like balancing my parents as
Your
people.
identity.
Yeah, dude. Cause like I didn't jive with these people.
Yeah.
Like I'm nothing like my dad. Like you would meet my dad and be like, there is no
Zero.
similarities, bro.
It's true.
Dude.
I mean, you're like, no way.
Yeah, there's no
way he adopted you, Devin.
Yep. And like, sorry, Dad. But yeah, like he loves me,
Love
you know.
Rich.
And it's been a work in progress. Like
Yeah.
our relationship has, and it's really good now. But as a young kid, all I want to do was leave.
Yeah.
But it was good to like get that experience and leave and work. And like that's one thing for sure is my dad taught me how to work, and I use that in everything I do now.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
everything. Oh yeah, dude. So it's like whether I hated it or not, he knew I needed to learn that.
Yeah.
Which is good. Yeah.
I got a question for you, Stu. So with your successes and stuff, and obviously they talk about how like generations, especially like the ones coming up right now, how there's everybody's got shortcomings, and they talk a lot about how the younger ones growing up are not very ambitious, or Tommy talked about like doing a community or a getaway for like men being masculine again or something like that. Do you see some sort of common flaw noticeably that you're like, it feels like we're missing this with the generation coming up? Does that make sense with like the people that are trying to grow goals or, being entrepreneurs? Is there anything that you're seeing like that? Kind of how everybody talks now, like these kids these days.
Yeah.
It's always kids these days.
So when you search for Stu Kent, our ed tech company, Google will start to give you like other suggested searches based on the history of other people searching for the word Stu Kent. And Stu Kent quiz answers, Stu Kent test answers, Stu Kent simulation hacks. Those are like very common search terms. Cheating, there are websites that like disguise themselves as not cheating websites, and that's really all they are, and all they've ever made their money on is helping students cheat. So integrity and honesty, I think when we were younger, was often taught through really good educators that understood the power and value in integrity, and they drove it home and found a way to help you learn that you couldn't cheat because you were cheating yourself. A lot of this young generation is, for better or worse, really, they have such an easy way to get answers that they're losing a little bit of the work ethic to get to the truth and to get answers. And I worry a lot about that. I really hope that whoever does my surgery when I'm in my 60s isn't someone who cheated a lot.
Somebody just chat GPT'd your surgery.
Now, who knows? Maybe that might be something where it wasn't about integrity. It was about working smarter, not harder. And there may be some of that. Like, when we were kids, we were told like, you'll never have you won't be walking around with a calculator in your pocket. So you got to learn this math the long way.
Look at me now.
I'm about to have that in my glasses.
Like, yeah, in your glasses, on your watch, you can just talk to everything and it just gives you all the answers. And so the AIs are going to get crazy, crazy smarter than they are, which my mind's already blown away.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk AI again, I got one more fun story on AI. But the fact is, kids are getting the answers and information so easy now that I wonder if they're working hard enough to work their brains out the way they need to work their brains out.
I don't know if we can actually just classify that as kids. Like I think about it with adults too. Like I've found that I almost push the easy button, and like I'll talk to chat or I'll Google it or I'll do whatever, and it's like, wait a minute. Before I would have had to actually like use some mental freaking bandwidth and figure this out, instead of now being like, hey, chat, help me out with this. And it's like, dang.
Yeah.
Like I'm still going to do it through chat because that's way easier. But like, man, I used to have to like use some mental, like, and build that mental muscle
and
basically.
Maybe that's just the evolution of how things will become, where we now have more capacity in our brains to think about other things because we let the AI think about the things that it already knows, and we get to be more creative with our brains around the things that it can't do. So I'll give you an AI example that I've been using lately, or that it's been working well for me, and that's around business ideation. So you can go to the AI I like to use for this is Claude, Claude, Claude AI. And I said, hey, Claude, I'm interested in creating a business park that boys that are 13 and 14-year-olds can come and compete all summer long. And travel baseball families will enjoy it because they can also use it as an excuse to go hit the bucket list national parks of Grand Teton National Park and Yellowstone National Park. Help me think through how many baseball fields I need, how many acres I need, how much I should expect to pay per acre, what it's going to cost to build each baseball field, if I go turf or grass, if I buy ag land that doesn't need water rights, or if it does. And it goes and just buzzes through all this information for me. And literally it would be like 60 pages worth of content now that I have around this business plan of creating a dreams park for baseball boys that allows kids from all over the country to come together and compete and play and come closer to God, which is a big part of what I would tuck into that, something like that. And like it, not only did I do that, then after I finished that, I was like, okay, now I got to think through the math and make sure I've got the math right. And how many people do I need on payroll to manage this? If I do turf, I don't need as many maintenance workers, right? Yeah, you'd probably only need this many maintenance workers doing this many hours. And it's like, okay, put all of this into a spreadsheet for me now where I can change the inputs based on what the price per acre is. And it built the spreadsheet for me. And what would have taken a team of co-founders months and months to work on, I had done in like an afternoon worth of time.
Yep. Insane.
I've done that. Not exact same thing. Like I've already started building this park. So sorry. No, just
now you're gonna.
Yeah. No. But yeah, like with my real estate, I'm like, hey, start me a spreadsheet, put all this in here. I'm going to drop you deals. You're going to analyze these for me. And it does it at like a click of a button. And it's like,
you like biz buy sell and you're hustling through those.
Yeah. Like, or well, not, but like, Crexy or LoopNet or whatever. Yeah. Right. And I just take take the real estate deal. I put it in there and it's like, yeah, this deal will do this and it will do this, but here's the things you got to watch out for. And like, yeah, part of back to AI, how we talked about before, like, it only knows what's out there in the world and the truth that it finds actually true. You got to watch it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, this is a great deal because it's this. And it's like, well, you're not going to get $3,000 rent out of a 2-bedroom apartment. Like, sorry, it's not happening. We're not in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Right. But so you got to you still have to really watch it. But yeah, it takes, for one, the mental kind of strain out of it and also procrastination in a way. And then it just does it like so fast. It's unbelievable.
It takes away the procrastination. I love that you said that because that is what holds so many founders back is they get partway and then they get stuck around, oh, I got to go find out prices per acre and I got to go find an agent for that. And I don't want to bother them because then they're going to make me sign something saying that I'm going to work exclusively with them. And I don't want to do that yet. So you get stuck in these places. Good founders never let themselves stay stuck there. They keep moving through those barriers that come up. But yeah, I love that point about procrastination because it can keep you going.
It's been huge for me, and just even building with what I'm trying to build, which is, I mean, I'm just a one-man show, but I've been able to, like I didn't know anything about website development, but like with me and Chat, dude, we busted that out, and then like, how do I get people signed up on a subscription to the $1 Dream, dude? I've never done that. Me and Chat, we figured it out.
Yeah.
Like I use it to help me write scripts, and like I use it still as a tool. I don't let it do all the work for me because it's typically wrong. It doesn't feel like me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm coming to scripts, like I'll just drop these stories that I write out, and then we'll just frame them up, and I still shoot everything. And it's like, hey, what do you think about this hook? I just use it as like so I'm not just stuck on one idea, and it helps me work through my ideas when I am feeling like paralysis by analysis. You could just sit here for hours and think about one stupid decision. Where with chat, let's go through the pros and cons, and then I just be like, all right, I'm running with that right now. And if it doesn't work, I already know that within an hour I'll go back. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good resource nonetheless. Like, not even 10 years ago, I was in college, 12 years ago or whatever.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, how did I write so many essays? That was
Mm-hmm.
me. I really did that. Are you sure? Now it's like, hey, chat, let's talk about this. It's like,
Yeah.
and so it's just like, I think it's a great resource. I honestly like going back to your point when you were just talking about how, you can sit down and really take the easy button. I think it kind of goes down to like what you said with like integrity is like, you can really take all that information all you want, but it really just depends on how you apply it to what you're using. Also, right? You can use it for good or bad. Like you can obtain a lot of information. It is internet information regardless, but you can use it in a good, positive way, or you can just be the kids like copy, paste, and never get a damn thing from it. So it's like, really just depends on the human.
Yeah.
100%.
Are you going to build this baseball park?
I'm very serious about it. I have 2 different agents that are looking at lots and helping me think it through. One of the ideas is like to keep some of the costs lower up front while you prove the model works is leasing land, doing a land lease. But dude, the math of like, I'm going to be careful what I say here. The math works really well. It pencils really well if you can get, say, 60 to 70 teams a week that are paying 20 grand to come, which sounds like off the charts crazy, but that's a little less than 2 grand per kid. And you're feeding them 3 meals a day and bunking them for the whole week. And you're doing that for 13 kids plus 3 coaches. It's about 20 grand to do that. So, but yeah, times 100 teams a week. And all of a sudden you're like cooking.
Yeah.
That's really good money. So, and it's not so much just for the money for me as it is, I need the money to work and work well so that it's easy to justify continuing to pay the people to go make it happen. Cause I don't want to be a part of the day-to-day forever.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
The operations of that's got to be a lot.
This is actually a question that's been, so I moved back to Idaho Falls 3 years ago. I grew up in Driggs, moved to Boise for 20 years, back to Idaho Falls 3 years ago. And something that why does Idaho Falls not have like anything like this or anything good? Like we talked about this at the gym the other day.
Yep.
Like my kids are involved in soccer and then they're involved in basketball. And then my son's in wrestling and football. But like basketball space is terrible.
It's terrible.
Soccer space is terrible. Basketball, or I already said basketball. Like baseball is pretty bad. Like you can get a little bit of better baseball, but not much. Like indoor batting cages, like good luck. There's a few around, right? But then like field space, I'm sure is horrible when it comes to like having a travel team or something like that. Like why is Idaho Falls so bad about this?
We pride ourselves in being a very conservative community. And we always vote for people that know that they are representing a very conservative people that like to live frugally. And that includes being careful about overspending on things that they look at as auxiliary and extra. And I think there's 2 areas where that's really hurting our kids: education and sports. And those are, in my opinion, the 2 greatest things. 2 of the 3 greatest things that raised me. Church definitely is a big part of what raised me. I needed not only mom and dad to tell me to be a good boy, I needed a lot of community people to tell me to be a good boy at church, okay? But the school system and educating our children well, paying teachers enough that it gets competitive to get a job as a teacher so that you get good teachers that are working hard to be the best, because that's how you keep a job as a teacher. Like, that would really help us. And having better schools where, like, when I take my kids to Utah and they see the schools that those kids get, and they're like, that's what we have. They associate it with the quality of education they're getting.
Dude, Utah schools are next level.
Oh, yeah. And it's not just Utah. You go to Texas and Wyoming and look at the schools those states have. Like, the neighboring states are just, and Arizona's high school. Holy cow. We were just down there last spring for baseball and it was nuts to see. And then so that's on the school side. And then on the sports side, the same thing occurs. We just don't want to put more money into it. And I think right now we have a mayoral election where we have two candidates that are the top two candidates. One of them is a lot more going to be ultra fiscally conservative, and he's not going to push for new anything. He's going to be ultra like, stay how we are, don't change, don't grow. And then you have another one who's also very fiscally conservative, but she's an engineer and has dreams and plans for helping with schools and sports.
She'll do a good job because we're related.
If
So it's just going to be a good job.
if she wins.
If she wins, I know.
And she has a hill to climb. It was a tie. She actually was, of the two highest voting candidates, Lisa Burton-Shaw was down by 60 votes. She could easily make that up with the, like, what was it? Some number in the 1,000, like low 1,000 votes range for the third candidate.
Mm-hmm.
And he's now gone from the race. So it's fighting for those last votes now to see who wins. But I mean, either way, the community will stay in pretty decent hands. I don't think he's a evil guy or won't do well. I like Lisa more. I think she's the better option, especially if we want better for our kids from a sports and investment perspective in our kids.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing with, and not just in, like you talked about with sports and school, like two very important things in life. Like, it sounds really crazy that you say that sports is a very important thing, but like all three of us, or probably actually all four of us sitting here, like sports has been a huge pillar in our lives at some point in time or another. And it's when, like, unfortunately, like, I've been one of those parents. I'm like, sorry, kids, you're not going to go to Idaho Falls High School because, like, their sports suck and what they're doing is not helping the cause. Like, so we're going to go somewhere else. And it's not to champion chase or anything. It's just to have better sports in a way, like better coaches. Like, I would never let my kids play football for the previous coach at Idaho Falls. And, like, I would let him wrestle for the coaches at Idaho Falls, like Tuttle and Tate and like great wrestling program, great guys. But unfortunately, it's like the school then comes into play, and it's like, man, you're the education program. Like, I'm sorry, it's not. Yeah. So I just wish that it was on a better term and a better program. But
well, I hope and pray as a community we start putting more value on it. I think across America in general, I would consider myself to be very conservative, but as it relates to education expenditures, put me in the liberal category, I guess, because I think that we've underinvested in our youth for far too long.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
My dad's on the board, some sort. I think D93. I don't know how school stuff works, bro. I hated school, so. But he talks a lot about that and like continued development and what they're doing for kids now, which is honestly, I wish I could have had. Where it's like these, elevate. It's where you're learning things by actually doing it and not just looking at, in a classroom and sitting. I mean, I struggled through school because I just didn't want to sit all day,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're not alone, dude.
Yeah.
So many. And they do have some cool new programs now, by the way. COVID actually really helped in some regards with this stuff. So my 13-year-old goes to Taylorview Middle School. He does school from 8:15 to 11:40. And then that's his only classes that he takes in a chair at a desk. And then he gets to come home, eat lunch, and do the second half online. And he finishes it in a fourth of the time of what it takes everyone else to finish their school day. And then he can go play. He goes to the golf course. He goes and plays with his cousin that also is entirely on just a online homeschool program now. And I think that you're going to find more of that kind of adapted styles of learning that kind of fits more individual kids. There's been a lot of research around that now that's kind of proving it's the right way to go for a lot of kids. Think about how good you could have been, Devin, if we had just figured out.
No kidding, bro.
But like you struggle for a lot of years with this, like, why don't I fit? Why am I messed up that I can't sit in a chair for 6 hours like everybody else? Nothing's wrong with you. It's just who you are. And it's okay that you don't want to sit in a chair for 6 hours straight. And you can actually go make a lot of money and be very successful and be a community leader and without being good at testing and sitting in a chair all day.
I
Yeah.
still don't want to do 6 hours in a chair. That's
You're right.
terrible.
Dude, it's like, I think that was I mean, now we're just going back to my childhood, but like everything from, being adopted, not feeling like I fit into a family, not feeling like I fit in at school, not feeling like I fit in my religion, dude, I had this problem. I literally thought I was just the problem child. Like, I was like, it was rough for me. And I wish I would have had something like that in a school where it's like, I like to learn, but I don't like to read it and think that I know what I'm talking about. I have to go do it. And so these programs like Elevate, where these kids are, from what I understand, actually applying what they're learning in a day-to-day class, like that is sweet to me. Like, it's just like what I'm doing now. I can't just read something on how to build a website. No, I got to read it and then do it right there. I got to like keep going, like, or anything else like this business stuff. It's like, I don't have no idea what I'm doing, but like, if I can just have something give me an idea and let me run with it and fail and figure it out, but like, and then, failing and stuff, it comes to that. Like, I was a horrible student when it came to grades. Horrible. But I think it was just because I just didn't learn like that. I got to learn and I got to do it. And I think right now where kids are able to do that is just, I hope even for my kids' sake, because I already know my youngest is literally me reincarnated. I'm like, it's fun and terrifying. I've got a lot of things to teach him, but for him, it's going to be crucial to actually go do something because he wants to help everybody.
Yeah.
When I'm doing stuff, dude, he is right there. But when it's like, hey, sit down and be quiet, that ain't happening. So I don't know. School's going to be rough for him unless we get it figured out. Sounds like we're on the right track. I don't know.
Yeah.
Good old Nico.
Yep.
I need to meet Nico.
Dude, he's cool.
Oh,
He's
man.
awesome.
Yes. Yeah. He
Sign
is.
him up for wrestling.
Dude,
Seriously, you need to put him back in.
You should.
I need to. Well, I had my oldest Huxon. Dude, he's an athlete. He's just so fast. But he is like the biggest hearted child you could meet.
So he doesn't like the like combat style. Of,
No,
of
man.
wrestling. Yeah.
He's still tough. He's still that, like, he does really good, but he feels bad for kids.
Yeah.
And he's not a big kid either.
So
but
he's not run you over running back. He's go around you running back.
yeah, go around you and then pick you up.
Help you.
Yes.
Once I put this in the end zone, then I'll come back and pick you up
Yeah.
on your trip down. Yeah.
But he doesn't like, he's not an elevated kid. He's like, he is just one mood all the time. It's always, and it's not like down. It's not crazy up. He's just always just positive kid. But like when he scores a touchdown, he doesn't even celebrate. He just goes and runs the ball over, gives it to the ref. Dude, it's just like, it's totally different than me. But
Crazy.
yeah.
Speaking of Hux real quick, just to boost your dad's spirit.
Yeah.
You even got high school coaches asking where your kid's going to go to school.
Really?
No kidding. Just happened last night.
Yeah.
No kidding. Like,
That's awesome.
Where's he going to be? Where's he at right now? Like, well, yeah.
Not IF. If the freaking football guy wants to keep fighting me, my
Yeah.
heck.
that was Drew, by the way.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Drew's
they were,
cool.
They were talking about Hux. And they're like, where's he going to go? Apparently people are talking about Hux.
Like I said, he's just fast.
Lots of touchdowns, huh?
Yeah, dude. And he's
Touchdown
smart.
Hucks. Fun.
Yeah, he's fun.
It's awesome.
Well, thank you guys for bringing me in, man. This has been
Yeah.
a great time. Loved it.
Yeah, this is sweet. Thanks, Stu. Learned a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
too.
You got any words of wisdom to leave us with?
Man.
You got some wisdom. Pull up your notes app.
Okay, I'll share one last thing.
Yeah, I knew it, dude.
I do have one thing, and it is, I'm going to pull up the app. So I'm glad you said that because that's what triggered it when I said one last thing. So, okay, I am serving with the students at BYU Idaho and getting together with them from time to time. And I needed the other day to come up with some good examples of people that have had faith struggles and then they come into their greatness later. Right. And there's a man named Jared Halverson. He's got a great podcast called Unshaken Saints. And he says that you should never let a good faith crisis go to waste. That it's okay. And basically, first and foremost, he wants you to know that, like, I called it a good faith crisis. It's okay to question your faith. Because some of the greatest prophets to ever walk the planet Earth in the Bible, they questioned their faith. They didn't always just perfectly believe. And so I was like, okay, so I know I want to share that message with these college kids that have moved away from home for the first time. And they're going, do I care to live the rules mom and dad gave me? Do I care to be the guy that Jesus wants me to be right now? Or do I just want to have fun in college? right? And so I'm trying to teach these kids and talk to them in a way that will make sense to them. So I said, this is what I told the AI. I need to create a list of 10 scriptures from the Bible that would imply that prosperity and making money is a good thing. I think that is a reasonable request considering how much it is promised that there will be prosperity. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Dang it. Prophets who struggled before us. So I did this twice, once for a different cause. This one is, this is what I said. Help me find examples from the Bible and Book of Mormon where prophets struggled with their faith or obedience before they served God powerfully. And here you go. Moses, when God called him at the burning bush, Moses protested 5 times. He questioned his own adequacy. Who am I that I should go? He doubted people would believe him. So, Devin, when you think about yourself and you're going, I feel like I should help raise money for a cause. I feel like I should do that. But then you start asking, you doubt, right? And you say, who am I that I should be the one that's helping raise money for these people with cancer? I don't have money yet.
Yeah.
Right? But you move forward and you trust God like Moses finally decided to do after saying, who am I that I should go? Jonah literally ran away from God's command to preach to Nineveh. God sends a whale to chomp him up in the ocean and teaches him a lesson. But then his initial resistance didn't disqualify him from delivering one of the most successful prophetic messages ever recorded. Jeremiah protested his calling by saying, I cannot speak, for I am only a youth. He later experienced such despair that he cursed the day he was born. That's in Jeremiah 20:14 through 18, if you want to go read it. And tried to stop prophesying altogether. Yet he couldn't keep silent and continued his difficult mission. Couldn't keep silent and continued his I could go on and on. There's examples from both the Bible and Book of Mormon here, but these people, they didn't always just easily believe and just do what God wanted because they were so chosen. No, it was still hard for them. But they had courage and faith and trusted God, and then he made something out of them because of it. Yeah, so if you're going to let me keep going on the preach thing, say, give us wisdom.
Let's go.
I'll go with it. But I mean, in the Book of Mormon, I'll share this last one. There's a prophet named Alma the Younger, and his dad was a prophet, Alma. Alma the Younger, he was literally tearing down the church and stealing and committing adultery and fornication and doing all of the sins. Just awful. And then went on to bring so many souls to Christ later in his life. So just because you haven't made it work yet as an entrepreneur, just because you haven't been someone of faith yet, doesn't mean it's not who you can become. This world loves to tell you that you can't change, that you are just who you are. But I've seen it, and I know that if you let God, he can make you into something way bigger than you ever could have been on your own.
I love that, dude. That's awesome. That's really resonated with me lately, is allowing people the space to change, and giving people the space to mess up and giving people, the opportunity to come back, whatever that is, right? One decision doesn't define you, man.
No.
So it's just like, it's everything. It's just allowing people to be who they are learning to be.
Yeah.
And evolving and thinking the way they think and loving them through that.
I think though that, dude, you said that one decision doesn't define you. I think it does, as long as you keep letting it define you. It defines you until you decide to not let it be the thing that defines you.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't have to define you.
It doesn't have to define you.
Yeah. Perspective.
Yeah. So it will, if you choose to be a thief and keep choosing to be a thief and don't change, you're still a thief. And that's, everyone knows you're defined as a thief.
Yeah.
But when you say, I'm done with that, and that's not who I am, and then you go live a life that's different, then you're going to be known for the new things you are and the new things you do, not the thief you once were.
Yep. And then I think it's those people on the outside that need to see that, right? And probably believe and trust in this person that's like, hey, they do have the ability to change, whether, in whatever capacity that is.
Yeah.
To allow people the space to be who they are and know that we're probably all trying our best, I would assume, for the most part. And there's probably reasons for everything, but I think it's super cool, man.
Yeah.
I think learning from that. What was the first thing you said? Dang it. On your chat is said from the mistakes, like the good mistakes you made, or how did I can't remember.
Good faith crisis, never ruin a good faith crisis.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Never ruin a
never,
good
never let
faith.
never let a good faith crisis go to waste.
Yep. And that's the same thing like with quote unquote bad mistakes. Like a mistake is a mistake, a failure is a failure, but it doesn't have to be a bad failure. It could be a good failure. You learn a good lesson
because you
from it.
learn from it. Yeah.
Yep. I love that. So
That's cool, man. Yeah, I've been reading this book. I mean, dude, another one. I started a new one. Do you know Jordan Peterson?
Yeah.
Yeah, so We Who Wrestle with God.
Yeah.
I started that book a couple weeks ago. First of all,
I haven't read that.
holy crap, bro.
I've listened to a lot of his stuff, but I've never read his books.
Dude, his vocabulary is a whole different level.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's a trained book.
I am literally stupid. So, but it's cool because you get to see inside this look of like just someone who's really, really thought about things and like, you know, looks at things not just like for what they are, but like metaphorically, which is what I like. You know, there's some like symbolism in stories and that kind of stuff. But it's been really cool to like dive in and see a different perspective of things than what happens in my own brain. Yeah.
awesome. Well, Stu, we've probably taken up enough of your time.
Dude,
but
this was
man,
so fun. I'm glad we
this
did
is
it.
awesome. Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming. And yeah, hopefully get some people to your getaways.
Yeah.
To your
It'd be so
retreats.
fun to have them come to the retreat.
Yeah.
Come check it out.
So
So you got a website, you got a Instagram, you got a Facebook, you got a LinkedIn.
Yeah. Startups
just-
with Stu. Go search up Startups with Stu.
you'll
Cool.
find everything.
Yep.
Awesome.
Well,
Okay.
love you, bye.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Love you. Bye.
That was awesome. You spend that much time, really.
If this episode gave you something real, don't just sit on it. Do something with it. Hit follow, drop a review, and share this with someone who needs a wake-up call today. The real rebuild grows because of you. Let's keep building.